right, what do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
This should work. Oh, full for. Don't know what that's all about. All right. Okay, that was a mystery. Literally got nothing. Well, I'm not even going to try to wrap my brain around what happened there, but okay. All I know is it was working fine. I started. Everything said it was working fine, so I did the old standard: turn it off and turn it back on again. And that worked, I guess. Literally, all the lights are lighting, all the levels were coming up. That was weird. All right. Got nothing. All right, let's just pretend nothing ever happened. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, whoever you're doing it with, however many times you're doing it, etc., etc. I'm just glad you're doing it here. We got a lot of stuff going on today. Clearly, we're now 4 minutes behind schedule. Thank you very much, equipment. Anyway, I'm just glad we're all here because we got some old stuff to catch up on. We've got some new stuff to deal with. And that's the focus of today. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going back and we're going to be looking at the updates to the Superman defendant who did a Superman fly over the judge's desk and proceeded to pummel the judge and a bunch of courtroom people for about 13 minutes. He was back in court 2 days ago for his sentencing that he was originally scheduled to be sentenced for when he attacked the judge. Then yesterday, he was in court to be formally charged with everything that stemmed from his attacking the judge and the other courtroom people. So that's what we're going to be looking at first. His sentencing in the original charges, then the new charges, and then after that, we're going to be watching an interrogation video that it's very, very disturbing. And once we start, I'm going to set you, my hive mind people, on it because I could not find in the short amount of time I had when I saw the video and decided that's what we're going to be watching. I'm going to set the hive mind of you on there to find out this person's name, because I want to know who she is and see what else we can find out about her case. It maybe her name is mentioned in the interrogation video, but I watched the first 10 minutes of it and I didn't hear her name. All I know is I was looking for something to do. I was specifically looking for something that we're going to do a little bit later, but I saw this video and I watched about the first 30 seconds and thought, okay, we're going to watch this tonight. This was pretty extreme. It's an interrogation of a mother involved in the death of her very young baby. So that'll be in about an hour from now. That should be about the last half of the show. So before then, though, we're going to be talking about this guy here who leapt over. We're going to be doing his sentencing, watching the interviews with his family members, and then watching his new charges in front of a new judge. But before we do that, I just want to again welcome everybody here, especially any new people that are joining us from yesterday's stream with Dave Neal. Hope to see you guys here. Hope you stick around and watch this with us. Even though, kind of sucked there for the first 2 minutes while I figured out what was apparently wrong. But hey, I'm glad to have you guys here. This is, again, more of the stuff we do. We follow cases and whatnot. And I haven't heard anything from Jane Doe. So who knows? Guess count myself lucky in that regard. And we'll look at some more stuff next week regarding that. And again, as I promised a lot of people, I will have Dave back on as soon as possible to talk about something more fun. So something a little lighter. But anyway, so before we do that, again, we have our daily like and subscribe poll. You can like my boomerisms. You can like whatever the subject matter is. You can like anything, but you've been here for a couple seconds already. So get down there, hit that like button. Half of you haven't done your job. 314 people here, 143 likes. Get over there. Just like, it's right there. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it makes me stop talking about it. So I'm going to hit that like button and subscribe. We picked up a bunch of subscribers from Dave's team yesterday, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for that. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have, just double check to make sure you still are, because YouTube. And then take our like and subscribe poll. Today's like and subscribe poll is like, subscribe, and fly over here to vote. Rate the Superman dive. Where does it fit on this scale? Dean Cain, Henry Cavill, Christopher Reeve, or George Reeves? And unless you're like an old like me, you probably don't know that George Reeves was the original TV Superman way back in the ancient black and white days. But that's the like and subscribe poll. We'll check back here at the end of his story to see how things are progressing in the poll. We've got a lot of people here today, and that's great. And we got a lot of stuff to do, and we're going to jump right into it now without further ado. Those of you that may remember this guy, who his name is apparently Deborah, even though it looks a lot like Deborah to me, is his name. He was being sentenced on some crimes, which I believe involved aggravated assault, and he decided to aggravatedly assault a judge. And in case you missed it and have no idea what we're talking about here, this is a quick overview of this video. This is a quick view of him doing his dive, and this is what he's going to be. Right, this was during a sentencing. He was being sentenced. He said, "Oh, judge, I'm changed. I mean, everything is normal. Everything is nice. I'm such a nice reformed guy. I don't want to go back to prison. I'm doing good. I've learned from my lesson. I've put my life back together." And the judge says, "Well, I don't think you have, because we have an extensive history of this sort of stuff, and you need a taste of something different." And then he said, "Well, F you, biatch," and flew over and proceeded to cause a lot of damage and injury. And this is his dive, for those of you that may have...
Mr. Redden, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf before I pronounce sentence?
I'm not after committing crimes now.
Yeah, well, he's going to commit a crime in just a second.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else, because I just can't with that history.
So yeah, that was the precursor to him saying, "All right, yeah, we tried that before. That didn't work. No probation. Now let's sentence you."
With the laws of the state of Nevada.
And then he does that. Boom. All right. Well, now he's in court. They're going to bring him in here, and the scenario's changed a little bit. He's not quite as free as he was back then, of course. Before we get into that, let's catch up over here. We've got Marv White with the $2 muted boomer. Yeah, we figured that out, Marv. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the support. Deeply appreciated. Adara the Wholesome. Good morning, Jeff, from slippery, slick Idaho traffic, where we're going to brisk 5 miles per hour because of California and probably crashed. How are you this evening? I'm doing great. It is 11:14 p.m. here in Korea, and please drive safely. Thank you so much for that. And Cakes Boo. Hey, what's up, Cakes Boo from Australia? So thank you so much for the support. So I came in on a let's pretend that didn't happen. Well, good. That's the perfect time to come in because you wouldn't have heard anything if you would have come in slightly before that. So Stingy, who's been a member for 14 months. Thank you so much, Stingy. Stupid YouTube won't let me put my message. Involved Korea's running of the dogs and you tripping Hayden. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll try it again in 14 more months. Let's see what happens. And King Ginger. Jeff, that lady's name is Mary Yoder from LaPorte. No, it's not Mary Yoder. It's definitely not Mary Yoder. At least I don't think it's Mary Yoder. It's it's not that. It's not Mary Yoder. Mary Yoder's son was 4 years old. I'm talking infant. It's not Mary Yoder. This is an older video, so don't get ahead of yourself there, King Ginger. Appreciate it. Wait till the video starts, and then we can try to track down who she is. It's not Mary Yoder. All right. And Mary Yoder, though, is a piece of crap. She was being sentenced for the death of her 4-year-old son, and she told the judge she missed her son. And oh God, I don't even want to talk about her. Her husband was sentenced like 70 years. And she was sentenced to, I can't remember what her sentence was, but basically she was saying, she misses her son that she beat to death. I mean, just on security camera, punching this 4-year-old kid, just dozens of times. It was horrific. But no, this isn't her. But thank you so much for the support. Marv White, member for 13 months. Are you actually a boomer or are you? I'm talking. Boomers are like World War II babies. How the old do you think I am? Boomers, they call them boomers because there was a baby boom after World War II when the soldiers came home. So boomers are like 1946 to like 1964, 65 era. Jeez, I'm well past that. Anyway, JL, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I have a year contract for a job in Korea starting February. Tips for living there. Oh, absolutely. Please, send me an email at thelegalvices@gmail.com or on DM on Twitter, thelegalvices. Let me know it's you. Let me know where you're going to be living and that stuff, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you've got. Go ahead and hit me up with that. And Adara the Wholesome. Deborah, exactly. That's you stole my joke, Adara. Are you happy? I was gonna use that joke at some point during the day, but thank you. And that's exactly what I was thinking. With his name's like, yeah, boy named Sue. No wonder he's angry. Exactly. All right. So we've done that. We've cleared the slate, and let's once we read Scrotum Booger Balls. I came in through the bathroom window. Cool. Thanks. Well, at least you're here, I guess. That's the important part. Thanks. Right. Now, to set the stage again, they brought it. They're bringing him into court for his sentencing on the original charges. And here we are. As you can see right out of the gate, he's dressed a little differently. One, he was out on bond when he did his attack of the judge. So he wasn't handcuffed, he wasn't restrained, he wasn't wearing prison gear, he was just wearing his street clothes. He was about to be taken into custody, but it just took him a little bit longer, and there was a little bit more force used than normally would have been used because he was pounding on people. But as you can see here, he's got a bite guard on, and over the bite guard, he's got the spit mask. And so yeah, here's the bite guard. Here's the spit mask. He's also got a chain around his waist, and his wrists are chained to his waist with about that much chain for flexibility. And he's like a little baby. He's got the little, like you put the little mittens on the babies or little socks on the baby's hands so they don't scratch themselves. He's got the safety mittens there on so he can't scratch anybody or grab somebody. And I guess they're like the Rock'em Sock'em robots in case he tries to punch somebody. They're powdered. They're padded. That's the word I was looking for. And there's a whole bunch of cops around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a bunch more out of sight. So guys, they're not taking any chances now. Let's see what the judge has to say.
Here now. Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing.
So there we have the full contingency of officers. What looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and maybe 1 or 2 more. So
when we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence.
And this guy down here on the bottom left, this guy's hair looks like his hair is so way too perfect. It looks like it's airbrushed on. Wow.
Incident occurred. An incident initiated by Mr. Redden preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing. Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday. So
this is the judge that was attacked. So she's back to hear the sentence. She's not to hear the sentencing, to sentence him on the original deal. She's not going to be sitting for the new charges against him. And from what I've heard, it probably works against him because, as we'll see in the next video with the new charges, that judge looks like she's going to be a battle axe.
This will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions.
Okay, so his actions during the sentencing are not going to be taken into account when she gives the sentencing. She's going to give the original sentencing that she was planning on giving before she was attacked. All right, fair enough, I guess.
I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court. As it existed the moment I walked in, prior to.
Okay, so she's actually showing that nothing has changed. She's introducing her own notes into evidence to show that nothing has changed.
All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. How much credit for time served does he have?
It's 0 days.
And I was muted again. Yeah, I know. See, this is why I hate this 20-second delay. I caught myself quickly. Now I have to watch 20 seconds of muted scroll by, even though I'm not muted anymore. I had muted myself so that I could make sure my audio levels were great. And of course, I forgot to turn myself back on. So anyway, she didn't enhance it at all. That's all I said. I just repeated myself. So you didn't miss anything by me being muted.
He was on probation when he committed the offense and was revoked on probation to serve the jail time October 25th.
Barney, yell at me. You
That's
can't
when
understand
I-
mute people.
at about the time
Can you
of
understand
the
that?
case, so-
Just kidding. Love you, Barn.
0 days credit. Mr. Almasi, if that's different, let us know.
So he was sentenced to 19 to 48 months, which was what she'd planned on doing originally. So that's the gist of it.
The motion to quash transport is moved at this point. And for the record, I just reflexively wrote 0 days credit time served on the note. Because of what I just said. So that is an addition as of right now.
That's correct. The probation case number, just for the record, is C370775.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's off you go for 19 to 48 months.
My name is Lib.
Now this is his sister, and we've got closed captions. We didn't have closed captions last time I checked, so we'll turn those on. Now, all right, but we've got a couple of super chats that have backed up during my shenanigans here. Stingy, $2 for some. That's a fetish. We're talking about the gear, the bite guard, and the yeah. Thank you so much. And Jacob's proud madre. Thank you so much. It's been a minute. It's good to see you here. And this time of year, I'm thinking of you. I was thinking about you the other day. I think I hadn't seen you in just a minute because I got you here. Thanks you. So good to see you here, Jacob's proud madre. Again, as I said, especially this time of year. I know where you sit. So glad you're here. And JL, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. How is this not a conflict? Seems insane that she's not biased. Again, see, she isn't sitting for his new charges arising from her assault. This is just the sentencing on the crimes and the verdict before she was attacked. And she's entering her own calendar notes from that day, that were already there before she was attacked, to show that she is now giving the same punishment that she had planned on giving originally, and to show that there was no bias, no consideration, no enhancement due to her being attacked. So good. She came in ready to give a judgment. She was attacked. She came back. She gave that same judgment, and now she's done. And Burning Sensation says, Jeffrey, you sure you worked in radio? Well, and it's a kill switch, but it's like I guess you call it a dead man switch. You push the button to mute yourself, and as soon as you move your finger off the button, the mic goes live again. Or if you work for a fancy schmancy place, you have someone doing it for you. You have the engineer that's pushing the buttons for you. So yeah. Anyway, right. Let's hear what the sister has to say.
Donna Daniels, Ladonna, and Daniels, Daniels.
In your relationship?
I'm his sister.
So can you just tell us, we've only seen the videos, so tell us about he's your half brother, right?
No, he's my whole brother.
Why on earth would this guy think that? I don't know. That seems to be a little subtly racist to me. He just assumes they're a half brother because they've got different last names. She might be married, you dumbass. Bad assumption to make. He's like, no, he's my whole brother.
We've seen the videos, so tell us about he's your half brother, right?
No, he's my whole
He's your full brother. So tell us about your brother and the
mother should just reach out and slap the stupid fucking reporter.
What is he like, and how did he get into this situation?
Well, he's basically
Shelby.
born
Bye, Shelby.
with mental illness. He was born with crack cocaine in his system. So his chance in life was taken at birth. Deep inside, he's a good person. He's just not had the opportunity in life to be surrounded by positive people.
So he's got a drug problem. Sisters, love you too. Love you too, Jacob's mom. He's got a drug problem. He had a bad childhood.
Meeting his own family. I can see that my brother just felt betrayed at the time when he was pleading and saying that he was in a better place, which is different for us all to be in a better place. I mean, when we struggle from mental illness, it's a chemical imbalance, just as most addicts have chemical imbalances out there who wants to stop using, who can't. It's something that we suffer from. I don't think sending him to prison is going to deter anybody who suffers from a mental illness. They need to be surrounded by healthcare professionals who can treat him.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know why he wasn't taking his meds. And that's unfortunately things that happen a lot. I mean, I know of people that have illnesses. They take the medication till they think they're in a better place, and then they decide that means they can stop taking the medicine. I don't know. Was he dropped from some sort of plan? I don't know. But all I know is that he's got a very long history of committing crimes. Now it's unfortunate if he does have a mental illness that he's on drugs and he had a bad childhood. But when you have that long of a history and you've spent that much time in jail and you say, no, this time I'm better. This time I'm good. This time I'm doing stuff. You still owe a debt to society. And he was going to get the 19 to 48 months anyway. He felt betrayed. Well, maybe he shouldn't have. Maybe he shouldn't have been out there. Maybe he should have learned his lesson the first dozen or so times. If he's in there and if he has a mental illness of some sort, he can get treatment in prison if he wants. Or they may force him to take medication.
And so that he gets the right treatment that he needs.
And I hope he does too. I'm not a monster.
So now he's going to go to prison on this thing. Like you were saying to me when we were walking down here, you don't think that that's going to help him in any way?
It's not, because the people in prison are trained to, for prisoners. They're not trained for people who suffers from mental illnesses.
Well, they do have mental health professionals in the jails. They are equipped for that because a huge number of people in prison are suffering from mental illnesses. So I understand she doesn't want her brother to go to jail. I understand that. But I also don't think it's wrong. Maybe, and this judge that was attacked, she's sentenced him several times before. Maybe she was too lenient with him. And what she's saying here, she's saying he has changed. Well, if he has changed, then this will give him another 19 to 48 months to think about his changes and to stay changed. If he has truly changed, this will solidify in him that he needs to stay changed, or he's going to be going back for an even longer time. Well, okay. That's what I was thinking at this point, but we'll get to what happens when he gets charged with the new stuff, because he ain't going anywhere for a long time.
So he will not get the proper treatment that he needs.
This case went internationally viral. How has your family been dealing with that?
Well, we've all just been thinking more, of our rights as individuals. And anybody whose mind is not of a normal person should not be judged in a manner of a person who's normal like you and myself.
I get it. I don't know what she wants though. You can't say, oh, you have, I don't know what to do. I'm sympathetic that he may genuinely be suffering from a mental illness. I'm not a monster. I hope he does get the treatment, but there's rules. there's rules. You know. All right, let's go.
He tried to speak for himself, which I just think he shouldn't have never been allowed to take the stand or speak on his own behalf because of his condition.
What was your thought when you saw this video?
He should never have been allowed to take the stand or speak on his own behalf because of his illness. Well, mentally ill or not, he's got constitutional rights, and she's essentially saying he should not have his constitutional right to speak on his own behalf because he's mentally ill. So that's, you know, again, yeah, exactly, Flux. Isn't that why we have competency hearings? Right. And mentally or not, we saw it with Brooks. Brooks had an absolute right, a constitutional right to defend himself, to speak on his own behalf, etc., etc. I get it. It hurt. I feel sorry for her. I don't feel very sorry for him. I feel sorry for him if the system failed him, but he's had a lot of chances. He's had a lot of chances to do this. So, you know, you can't take away his rights because, as we said, there are rules.
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Apparently I am.
On behalf because of his condition.
What was your thought when you saw this video that went viral?
Yes, I just think his reactions were not premeditated. It was triggered because he seemed to have been pleading for his freedom. He has been off his psych meds since he got out of jail, but because he doesn't have an appointment until March of this year, so he has not taken anything at all. And I think when the judge says, you know, it's time for you to get a taste of, became a trigger.
Now, I do agree with her here. I think the judge was wrong. I think it was improper for her to say what she said, something along the lines of, I think it's time you got a taste of something different. That was antagonistic. I do not think that was a proper thing for the judge to say. So I'm standing with her on that one. I'm standing. No, I get this one, Lisa. I get this one. Again, yeah, and that's the first thing I thought when the judge says, well, maybe he needs a taste of something different. That's not something that a judge, a professional, a member of the bar, the court themselves should say. So that's the only thing. I mean, but I'm not saying that it excuses what he did. I'm not saying it justifies in any way what he did. I'm just saying I agree with her. I don't think the judge should have said that. It wasn't proper in my view for the judge to say something like that.
And in his mind, he felt threatened.
No, he didn't.
We all have the capabilities to do what Deobra did, and that is to leap that high when our fight or flight mechanism response is triggered when we're threatened. We can jump that high. We can leap that high. So in his mind, it's realistic that his life was feeling threatened, and that's what happened.
Say that last line.
No. Just gonna keep going. That doesn't even justify stopping for. No. He flew like Superman because he felt like his life was threatened. The worst that was gonna happen was 19 to 48 months. That ain't threatening your life. You don't like the way the judge talked to you? Well, you know, tough shit. File a complaint. But how? Right. You know what I mean. All right, let's just keep going.
I strongly believe that. Because it was that statement that was the trigger.
Have you had any communication with him since Wednesday?
No, I haven't. I have, and actually, once we found out that he didn't appear in court on that day, my mind automatically went to, what did you do to him? Where is he at? When I came,
what did you?
Everywhere.
Excuse me, what did you do to him? You didn't ask him. What the hell did you do to the judge? Did she see that he took a Dorito-sized chunk out of a dude's skull? Well, not the skulls. I mean, he peeled a Dorito-sized chunk of flesh off of one of the guards' foreheads. Did you think of that? Yeah, you're lucky that he could walk out of the courtroom under his own power. What did they do to him?
Where and I go over to the jail and I'm trying to do the visits and there's no visitation for him at this moment.
Of course not.
Where is he? He hasn't called, but apparently.
Why? If you have to ask why he's not entitled to visitation like a day after he does that, Ma, come on. This ain't your first rodeo with him. This is not your first time visiting him in jail or prison.
Tony Abatangelo, a good attorney that I know, was able to access someone from the inside to actually call. And they called me last night. And I explained to Deobra, like, it's not a circus. What you did, no way do we condone it. But okay. I know your struggles and I know the voices that you hear. And I just felt I tried to soothe them and, say, just come to court and, whatever's handed down, just take it. Like what?
It didn't work, did it, Ma? Sorry.
What else can you really truly do? But I just felt like to even be going back in front of her courtroom, that was totally like, why? What? You want to send a message or what? At the same time, he's like she said, he suffers from mental illness. It's always been documented. It's always been stated. Even when I got him from the foster care system at the age of 12, it was documented that he was severely emotionally disturbed. By the time he was 18, he left and branched out on his own. But every day, like you say, he's trying to do better. He just got released November of 2023. 6 weeks ago? Something like that. He just got out, got an apartment, did everything right, was in contact with parole and probation. He was released to them in their custody. So now you saying you're finna send him back? But since in his mind, he didn't think he was going back. He was ready to go to work the following day. As we sat in the courtroom, he got a dispatch from the Teamsters. He was just in a better place.
He got hired by the Teamsters a little bit before, 19 to 48 months. They'll need his services in 19 to 48 months.
And like you said, I just feel it's true.
Do you think that this will, essentially him being sentenced, will undo all the work that he's done to repair his mental state?
No, definitely not. It's only going to put him in a worse state of mind because the system has failed him, and that's how he feels. That's how he feels that since the system fails him, so he's going to come out with that mentality and go forward in life, knowing that he has pleaded everything that he can, and being in a better place is different for us all.
And that was a viable course of action. If he had just sucked it up, took his 19 to 48 months, come out the other side saying, yeah, I learned, I understand what I did was wrong and I had to pay the price. I sucked it up. I did my time, and I'm still the changed man I was before I went in. I'm going to go about my life. I'm going to be a productive member of society. It could have all played out that way. But not anymore. We're going to get there in just a minute.
If he can be in a better place for a month, 30 days, for him, that's a lot.
As a sister, as a mom, what was it like to see him in the spit mask and the scratch?
Of course, I cried. But even from the moment that he leaped and he jumped, and this lady right here is my witness, and she was in the courtroom on that day also. My first thought of mine was, please don't kill him.
Okay, Martin, let me talk to you here a second. Martin, let me talk to you for a second. Your first thought was, please don't kill him. My first thought when I saw that was, gee, in Utah, there's a good chance that would have ended with bang. Now, what do you think was that judge's first thought when she saw your son flying over the table at her? What do you think was the first thought in the guard's head as he was having a Dorito-sized chunk taken out of his forehead? What do you think his first thought was? Don't kill me? Do you think maybe that was the judge's first thought when he was flying over there, ready to drill her head through the back of the wall? Maybe her first thought was, please don't kill me.
I mean, please, like, it shocked me just as it shocked everybody else. Like, oh my God, I went to a state of shock. You know what I mean? So it was heartbreaking, really, to see him. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's about his mental state. You know what I mean? His mental, like, we just seem to forget that.
In his eyes, he doesn't even understand that what he did was wrong.
Oh, bullshit. Now you're just talking out your ass. I gave you the one thing. That the judge was wrong. The judge was wrong in doing the, I think you need a taste of something else. But to say he doesn't even understand that flying over the fucking table and pummeling the judge and then opening up a dude's skull and injuring 3 or 4 other people, he doesn't understand that what he did was wrong? Yeah, well, I beg to differ with you. That's a stupid thing to say. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I get it. I'm giving you that you're hurting because your brother's going to jail again. But don't be stupid. Don't be naive. Don't say dumb shit like that. It totally destroys the credibility of any other statement you just made. Ugh.
Because he feels like he's just protecting his life. And any of us, if our life is threatened, we're going to react in 2 different ways.
His mental diagnosis is what?
Schizophrenia, bipolar.
So he's completely mentally
He has manic phases.
completely ill. So even so, the night before he had court, I guess he didn't really sleep because when I picked him up to come to court, you know.
Well, no shit. Does anybody sleep the night before they're being sentenced for being incredibly violent towards someone? Well, no shit, he didn't sleep.
I noticed he was in there. I'm like, who you talking to, Deobra? He's like, oh, nobody. I said, you know, because as a kid, I used to tell him, like, don't start with those voices. Like, I would kind of
Lordy.
Like, get the voices out your head. Come on, it's time to get up. It's time to go to school.
He's hearing voices.
Just to keep him focused. But as he got older and he got put on the medication, I seen where he was much calmer. Because I believe so. They gave him his first dose of medication yesterday while in jail. Wow.
Now wait a minute. They just said, "Oh, he's not going to get medical treatment. He didn't have the mental illness treatment. He wasn't even going to be able to see anyone until March. Oh my God, what's going to happen when he goes into jail? He's not going to get the attention he needs. He was there a few hours and he got his first dose of meds. It sounds like he's being a hell of a lot more properly treated outside than he is inside. I mean, inside than he is outside, because he wasn't going to be able to see a doctor until March. He's there like a few hours and he gets his first dose of meds. Hey, he's being helped in prison. He's getting more attention inside the jail or inside the prison. Where I guess at this time he was still in the jail. He hadn't been sentenced yet. So he's getting better care inside the jail than he would have got for the next 2 months outside. So you're contradicting yourself a little bit there, moms. And I get it. You're hurting, but you know, just don't go too far with it.
His first dose, he said he had taken, and I could just tell in his voice that he was calmer and he didn't really realize the magnitude.
Well, that's what they're saying, Liz.
You know what happened, right? Like I said, I don't even feel it's funny, it's a show, but you know what I mean? I didn't even
That should
realize.
be overlooked, like the judge said. Like, oh well,
He just,
you know, this is he got a history of this. Well, it's part of his life of who he is.
And Miss Karen, you're his foster mother. And how many
Okay, that's foster mom, not his actual mom. Okay.
children do you have?
I fostered him and his siblings. Actually, four.
How did you guys plan on supporting him in his journey now that he will be behind bars?
How do you plan to help him in his journey? It ain't a journey. It's a prison sentence. And there's a good chance that that foster mom isn't even going to be alive by the time he gets out next time.
I've always supported him, and I've always supported him, but he'll tell you if anybody's number is the same as mine. Whenever he's, you know what I mean, trouble or whatever, you know, pick up the phone. And like I say, I'm here to court for support. I actually taken off work. My court allowed, you know, me to be here. So we support him, but, you know, whatever he needs, I'm a phone call away. So, but the main thing is to make sure that he's getting proper care.
Yeah, I plan on helping him understand his mental condition because he doesn't understand what he suffers from.
So outside of him suffering from that episode, how would you describe his normal disposition?
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He is the sweetest young man.
He's a sweetheart. He's the sweetest young man. Have you seen his criminal record? Have you seen the things he was charged with? Yeah. I get it. He's your brother. He's your foster son. I get it. But a little bit of reality. Come on.
In his arm to help him. He will give his arm up for sure.
As a family, have you guys been discussing what the next steps are looking like?
I mean, what you think? I guess tomorrow is another episode? Yeah, with the, like I said, yeah, he had 4 charges. Now they jumped to 15, 16?
Yep.
Like extortion, like really, like I said.
What? He was not charged with extortion. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. He was not charged with extortion. Grounds. Yeah, exactly. Grounds.
Say, you know, no disrespect. We don't condone what he did. As far as everybody,
we wouldn't have you anywhere else.
Baylor did that to himself, you know.
And if you're not in your right state of mind, is it you or is it the sickness or the illness?
What? Yes, he was charged with extortion. We're gonna hear the charges in a minute. I don't remember extortion being one of them. But if it was, I'll apologize. And if he was, it sounds pretty stupid to me. We'll see.
My name is Karen Springer. Please spell it for us. Springer, Karen, Karen. On Denise, D-E-N-I-S-E, Springer, S-P-R-I-N-G-E.
Is there anything else you guys want to add?
That was so very courageous of you guys to step up and take, you know, it was not an easy thing. I was initially in the courthouse and you could just see he snapped and it was mental illness. Unfortunately, that's the way sometimes things go. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That was very brave.
Yeah, Teamsters.
He got a Teamster 631. I just paid for his dues to get paid. So he was ready to go to work.
So what was the nature of the work?
It's like labor board, extra board, they call it.
All right, we can wrap that up there. Wow. So yeah, 19 to 48 months. I get it. Sis and foster mom are a little bit delusional. So we got people saying he was charged with extortion. That's weird. All right, we'll get to it. So when I watched the charges earlier, I didn't hear extortion, and that would be weird. Now I'm really curious, because I mean, extortion is where you take something from somebody by threat, or like force, by force or threats. All right. I sorry, foster mom. Sorry, other people. That's weird, but okay. All right. No, see, these are the old charges. See, that's what I'm thinking, Island. These are the old charges: extortion, coercion with force on a protected person, and battery. I believe that's these are the old charges. I don't think the new charges. Anyway, we're gonna watch the new charges now, but first we got a couple of the super chats to get through. Then we'll put this mystery to rest. Right, Billy Aoki, how are you? Wow, we have some important people here. Thank you, Billy. It's a happy little duck you got there. Thank you all the way from Singapore, the $2. So he couldn't get his meds. That seems to be the case. It sounded like he was on taking meds previously. Either he was dropped, he ran out, he did something with them, but he wasn't going to be able to get back in to see anybody till March. But hey, just a couple of hours in jail and he's already getting the meds. So once they build up in his system, take a couple days, a couple of weeks, maybe he'll be back to normal. Where that would have been April before that would have happened. So I guess that's good. Jacob's Proud Madre dropped 10 Legal Vices memberships. Wow. Thank you so much. If you were one of the lucky 10 that got one of those Legal Vices memberships, give Jacob's Proud Madre a super special thanks. And for all you members of the Vice Squad, the members, not just the subscribers, the members we'll probably be doing our members only stream this Sunday morning US time. So about this time on Sunday morning is when we'll probably be doing that. So give Jacob's Proud Madre a super, super special thanks. Show her the love. And that dog in him, thank you so much for your support. This man had as much mental issue as Rudy Eugene had drugs in his system. This mom is an enabler. Foster mom comes from a good place, though, but you got to open your eyes. Greg Hansen, the 2 pounds. This sort of excuse making is the cause of the problem. It's turning a blind eye. It's definitely that. Adara the Wholesome, can you recap his criminal history for us unaware? Lots and lots of charges of doing lots and lots of things, many of which involve violence. I don't have we have the list we just read, which is what I believe was what he got sentenced for. I can't imagine him getting charged with extortion for beating the judge and other people there on. I can't imagine that. But we'll find out. I didn't hear it, but I'm halfway deaf anyway, so it very well could have been. We'll find out. Thank you so much for the support. And King Ginger 333. They act like mental illness is a get out of jail free card. A lot of people think that. Yeah, this is the type of enabling behavior that caused this to happen. I cannot disagree with you. I absolutely feel the same way. It's like, oh, he has a mental illness, so he shouldn't be punished. No, you're going to be punished, but you also get the free treatment. So, Bella Stella also gifted 10 Legal Vices memberships. Wow. I think that's dog cam worthy, everybody. You guys have worked hard. I think it's time to unleash the dog camera, as we like to say around these parts.
Release the hounds.
Let's bring up some doggo cam so I'm not alone here. How does that sound? Anybody object to hanging out with the dogs? Let's put the extra camera up here. There we go. All right. We've got Yoda chewing on a bone. Strawberry chewing on a bone, and Yoda's nether regions are just kind of there on display. So here we go. There we go. There's my buds. There's my doggo buds. Thank you so much for all of you that have generously donated and supported the channel today with your super chats and the membership gifts and purchasing the memberships. Case number 24, CR. But is this the old charges or is this the new ones that he got charged with for attacking the judge? That's the question. And we're about to find out soon. The mystery will come to an end. Island with $5. My neighbor had schizophrenia. Neighborhood had a plan if she stopped taking meds. You protect him and others, not let him run wild, and then make excuses. Yeah, I mean, I have a few friends with who were bipolar, and they were great taking the meds, but then they'd be, hey, I'm feeling great, so I don't need to take the meds anymore. And then bad things would happen, and we also kind of had similar things, but nothing quite that organized. Right. So that catches us up. And again, thank you so much for all of the support there. Now let's look at the new charges, shall we? The new judge, Billy coming in again with some more Singapore dollars. Just want to point out that SSRIs take a while to start to take effect. Mine took a few months after I started. I mean, ordinarily, just anecdotally speaking, a couple of weeks to maybe a month. That's what I was mentioning earlier. It doesn't just like, oh, here's your med and you're great the next day. It takes a while to build up. In the case he was being sentenced to was, yes. Okay. Now I got to scroll back up and check the numbers. 20. All right, well, anyway, let's just watch it. We'll find out. We'll find out because I'm curious now. Without further ado, let's dive into this. This is yesterday. This is the new charges. Now, as I said, the judge it's a new judge. Obviously, the judge that was attacked isn't going to be able to sit as the judge in a case where he's charged with attacking her. So there's a new judge, and he might not like this judge. She's kind of a battle axe. She's really tough, no nonsense. She just lays it down, and she lays down rules on courtroom cameras and whatnot. So let's watch her and see what she's got to say, and then we'll make our comments as necessary. Yeah, Melanie, we're just getting to it now. No spoilers. Just kidding. Here we are.
Las Vegas, where the man who assaulted a judge made another court appearance this morning, this time answering for that attack. You've seen.
Let's fast forward a little bit here. All right, this is where. Let's see. We don't need to see that. He's being brought in again. He doesn't have all the gear on. Apparently, he decided he was going to be a nice guy, but they seem to have a makeshift spit guard on him, or could be another reason, but we don't know.
Hello. Okay, I have a few housekeeping matters to handle before we handle his case.
See, judge doesn't even wait for him to get through the door, and she starts talking. Yeah, she's in control.
Anticipation of me appointing the public defender to represent him. There are multiple media requests. There were multiple orders that were signed in initial appearance court. I have amended several media orders to.
Okay, those it looks like those closed captions are, at least they're hard for me to see. So hang on. Subtitles. Let's look at the options here. Background color. We don't need a background color. Let's do a video override, shall we? Background color yellow. Video override, meh. Off. No, we don't want that. We want right. I'm boomering this, aren't I? Window color, window opacity, font color. How is it? How is that black? That is not black. Huh? Wow. Do we get to override this? Yep. Huh. All right. Well, there we go. Just took a while to kick in.
Not allow live streaming because
the court is not allowing live streaming. That's the first thing. They're not allowing live streaming, But as she's going to explain here, they are allowing courtroom cameras from the media.
I do not allow live streaming. So to the extent initial appearance court allowed live streaming, I have amended all of those orders to remove that. I have filed amended orders yesterday. There are some new orders that I need to rule on, one from KLAS, one from Univision, one from Associated Press, and one from Fox 5. Does the state have any opposition to these media requests? Does the defense?
I'll submit it to the court.
Okay, I'm going to sign and approve these media requests. They are not for live streaming, and they are only for any sort of media that the media requested.
So yeah, as you can see, she is a no-nonsense judge.
All right, as for disclosures, before I arraign Mr. Redden, I want to disclose under Judicial Canon 2.11, comment 5.
So this is her conflict. She's going to mention that she knows the judge that was attacked.
That I do know Judge Mary Kay Holthus. I know her very casually and only professionally. I've never socialized with her outside, say, a professional event. I do, for instance, not know her phone number. I don't think she knows mine. We're not connected on social media. I've never worked at the district attorney's office, where I believe she worked for her entire career. Her daughter is a deputy district attorney on my track. However, the team chief has assured me that Kennedy Holthus will not appear on any of Mr. Redden's appearances. Therefore, I see no reason to recuse. However, I make those disclosures under Rule 2.11, Comment 5. Mr. Redden, have you been given a copy of the criminal complaint this morning?
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder.
Attempted murder is the first charge. Attempted murder on a protected person over 65. So yeah, they go with the big guns first.
Complaint this morning.
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony.
Extortion by threat. Apologies, foster mom. Apologies, Daily Quick Bites and everybody else. Extortion by threat. I'm lost. I'm lost on that one. Taking something by threat. Obtaining something by threat. I can't explain why that charge. That's why I'm utterly baffled by that one. Now I got to go watch other people that cover this so I can see if they're as bewildered as I am by that one. I just don't know. John, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Well, that's one of the charges. So, hey, there you go. And an attempted murder. He must have said something like, I'm going to fucking kill you or something like that, which doesn't help because, I mean, if it's just him leaping over and being angry and trying to bash her head against the wall, don't know if that would rise to attempted murder, but if he said something stupid like, I'm going to kill you, and then did it, or said that while he was doing it, it's much more understandable that you'd be charged with attempted murder. So, yeah, this is one that now I want to read the police complaint. I want to read the complaint on these new charges to see what the grounds for that are, because I'm curious. He did say that and was recorded saying he wanted to kill the judge. Again, I didn't specifically remember that, but yeah, oops.
Felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer, a felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same name victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint.
Hey, Mo. We got the Mo crew.
Felony offenses. Count 10, performance of act or neglect of duty and willful or wanton disregard of safety or persons of property resulting in substantial bodily harm or death, a felony. Battery on a protected person, count 11, that's a gross misdemeanor offense. Count 12, battery by a prisoner, a felony. Count
Dude.
13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid.
Wait, what? Whoa. Back that truck up. What?
A felony. Count 13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, a felony.
Oh my. What? Oh my. What? Listen to that again. Oh, I hope that's
felony. Count 13, unlawful act related to human excrement.
Unlawful act related to excrement or bodily fluid. I hope to God he was just spitting on people. I hope it's just spit. I really hope it was just for spitting. Otherwise, ew. Yeah, let's all just pray to whatever courtroom gods are out there that it was just spitting.
Or bodily fluid, a felony. All allegedly occurring on January 3rd of 2024. Do you understand these charges?
Yes, I understand.
Can you afford to hire a private lawyer at this time? I'm sorry?
I'm trying to
Can you afford to hire a private lawyer of your own expense and choosing?
no, not at this time, no.
Are you a veteran or a member of our military?
No.
I can appoint a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And prior to Your Honor calling the case, I did, as a friend of the court, talk to Mr. Redden about his right to a Valdez Jimenez hearing. I know that he did not have one in initial appearance court. However, he's going to be choosing to waive the prompt hearing given the circumstances that happened yesterday in district court where he's already been sentenced in his other case.
Okay, so he was sentenced?
Correct.
Okay, was he sentenced to jail or prison?
Correct.
Okay.
1948.
Okay.
So he understood that and said that he's not trying to have the hearing today.
Okay, that's fine, and I'll canvass them on that. My only issue is I think what has happened is some standard bail figures have carried over since booking. So by the time he sees the judge, he is entitled to a Valdez Jimenez hearing, but it is at that point that the court sets release conditions. So I'm removing the standard bail numbers that were only assessed at booking, frankly, until he sees the judge. And given the attempt murder charge of count 1, that is a set in court bail. So the standard bail numbers will be removed.
Okay, so he did have some basic bail numbers. She's saying bail is off the table because of all these new charges. He was originally with 4 or 5 charges, then they upped it to the 15. So they're saying with the new charges, bail's off the table until he can meet in front of a judge, and he has to meet with the judge for the bail hearing because attempted murder is a mandatory must be in front of a judge thing. You just can't do it remotely, etc. He's got to be there. So he's going to meet with the judge and he's going to set a new bail.
It will be replaced with a set in court bail or release condition. He is entitled to a Valdez Jimenez hearing within 48 hours unless good cause shown. But you say, Mr. Redden, Ms. Medina tells me that without waiving a bail hearing completely, you're at least willing to waive it for now because you have some other issues you have to handle. Do you understand and agree with this?
Yes, in 1948.
Okay, all right. So he'll just be on a set in court bail unless further ordered by the court. We need to set his preliminary hearing. Would you like that set within 15 days?
He's going to also waive the 15-day set and we'll do 30 days.
Okay. Sir, you have a right to a preliminary hearing within 15 days, and Ms. Medina.
Now, see, people are mentioning, well, what's the deal with the bail? Yeah, he's already sentenced, and again, it's a formality. Essentially, it's a formality. He's entitled to it. He gets it, but he ain't going anywhere because he's in prison on the other charges. So.
Dina said that she's talked with you about that, and you're willing to give up that 15-day period and instead set your preliminary hearing within about 30 days. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Is this okay with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Does the state? Yes.
After we get the date, can we approach?
Sure. Is there anything else, Ms. Mercer, you want to address?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Here's a 30-day preliminary hearing date, unless I see you earlier, and if you'd like to approach, you may.
February 14th at 9 a.m.
Oh, wait. All right.
Completely different scene inside.
So then there's just talking heads talking about this, and the sis. It's just new sis stuff.
Mental illness. He was born with crack cocaine.
Yeah, okay. It's just the same thing, different angle. Looks like. Okay. Well, there's some dog butt going on. I guess Yoda left to go back to the sofa where usually she'll head on over there. Wow. Now, this last bit is rather sensitive. I watched about the first 30 seconds of this and went, holy crap. And then watched about 5 or 10 minutes of this interrogation. I thought this is something we could do. It's a terrible case, and kudos to Buddha Berries for finding it before I did, before I even started. She's the sleuth. She gets all the information. Now this is an interrogation from 2016. Hang on, I've got to readjust things here. This is from 2016ish, I guess, or somewhere around there. She was sentenced in 2016. She's scheduled for release in 2025. This next woman, her name is Amanda Marie Hancock. She was 23 years old when she was sentenced in 2016, and she was convicted of first-degree manslaughter for the death of her 7-week-old child. So if any of that is triggering to you, now is your time to say peace out. And I thank you. I thank you for your viewing. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your watching. And if you want to leave now, I completely understand. This is a pretty horrific interrogation to watch. She amended her plea from not guilty to no contest. So there was no real trial. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison with credit for time served. First degree manslaughter. January, this is the background here. In January 2015, Douglas County Emergency. This is Douglas County, Oregon. Emergency communication received a 911 call regarding an infant that was not breathing in the city of Glendale. Law enforcement arrived at the scene and attempted to perform CPR, but the child had already died. An autopsy was conducted by Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office, and was found the child had starved to death. In January 2015, both Hancock and her partner, Stephen Williams, were interviewed by the sheriff's office. They told detectives they both fed the child multiple ounces of milk at multiple times during the day, according to court documents. Hancock and Williams also told police there was no prenatal care and they did not visit the doctor after the child was born. Williams told the police she thought the child had lost some weight, but didn't call the doctor because that was Hancock's responsibility. Hancock was scheduled to appear before a 12-person jury on June 8th, but amended her plea prior to the trial Tuesday morning. Single charge of first-degree criminal mistreatment and 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor were dismissed. And he was. I don't have the outcome of his case, but that's the. We're going to be watching her interrogation by the police. It's about an hour long, hour and 10 minutes long. If you don't want to watch this, then now is your time to say goodbye. And I thank you for being here with me. Other than that, we're going to be going over to our good buddy, our good friend, our good pal, he's got two Crime Circus and Crime Circus Cult. The two channels he runs. Absolutely, Drip Drop has the best collection of interrogation videos on YouTube. So if you want to watch some really, really good interrogation videos, get on over to Crime Circus and Crime Circus Cult with Drip Drop. Huge channels. Hey, now. Yeah. How do you like it? Narrowly averted that. So we got some Drip Drop coming. Get on over there to him. Great channel. Love it. We've used some of his interrogation videos, like the Alec Baldwin videos, I believe, came from him. Some other things have come from him. So there we go. Let's bring it on. And I really wanted to get Drip Drop on here, but he said he doesn't want to do the interviews. He's cool just being Drip Drop. So if you watch this Drip and you ever change your mind, come on. I want to talk to you about your vids. So anyway, here we go. This is the interrogation of, what was her name again? Amanda Marie Hancock, 23 years old.
Posting videos of you lactating? Are you posting pictures? Are you going to this website and charging $25 for a self-lactation? Don't.
Yeah, that's what I saw and went, what? Yeah, so that's why we're watching this video. It was because I saw that. Wait, that doesn't help, does it? There we go. So that's all right, there we go. That's what we're looking at. I was trying to make this bigger and better here. Let's move this up here. Dang it. I need to go in and set the subtitle colors. We want yellow. There we go. So, all right. Now we're done with that. Boom. Here, Rule 34. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is 2015. This is pre-OnlyFans. Thanks, Hayden. Yeah, y'all heard it right. Well, yeah. Let's just go. I got nothing.
I don't think I haven't checked all this stuff out.
I know. Welcome to Crime Circus. My name's Baby Drip, and I'm filling in for Drip Drop. This is the interrogation of the bad mom.
Yeah.
She is the mother of baby boy Data. She was an adult internet star.
Oh my God.
Stay tuned until the end for an update, and now let's see what she has to say for herself.
All right, Amanda. So just like it says in here, on the sign, everything in here is audio and video recorded, okay? I'm Detective Sullivan, you know that, without the D, all right? Remember. So in this room, it says audio and video recorded. Just a formality whenever we bring someone in here, we advise them of their rights, okay, because of the nature of our conversation, and then it being audio and video recorded. So let me just there it is. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer, have him or her present with you while being questioned. Cannot afford to hire a lawyer. One will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. Do you understand those rights?
Okay. Hey, she's been read her rights, and of course, now see, I don't know how to approach this because you want to point out the things she's done wrong in her interview, but Then again, you know, because I want to tell her to shut up and get a lawyer, but you know, then again, she did this horrific thing that she's admitted to. So, you know, screw you, kind of a thing. I'm conflicted. So if I say things that seem like I'm trying to help her out, I'm just saying if this was someone else who was in her position that had not actually done something horrific, like starving their 7-week-old child to death, this would apply to them, not her. So yeah, when they start talking like that, that's the time to shut up. Well, you should have been shut up before then, but you know, that's the time to really shut up.
So I know we briefly talked about down at your house prior to coming here, and I know you had previously are still currently having an attorney assigned to you regarding your case with Q.
All right.
But knowing that, you still agreed to come and talk to us, correct? And your statement was the attorney that you have is currently representing you on your case with Q, not on the death investigation with data. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's been made very clear to me by her.
Okay. So knowing, I guess, all of that, you're still agreeing to talk with us today without having an attorney present. Okay. So I just want to make it clear. That's all I want to do. Okay. Just because could be some issues that arise.
In what world is this a black
completely
text?
clear with you and that you're talking to us today voluntarily and willingly. Is that correct? And so yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure it's clear. So before we get into the questions here that we kind of have, I know when you were contacted, I think it was January 22nd, you spoke with Detective Rigo and Deputy Schwinn. And
on the day that data.
Yeah, and the medical examiner, Deputy Kinney.
So I'm going to dick around with this here again.
I guess filled me in on some of the details, but so I just want to kind of get up to speed on everything, okay? So you guys are originally from California, right?
Yes, originally.
And so how long have you lived here?
We moved here November 14th
Of
2014.
Okay.
So only about 4 months.
Okay, and when you moved up here, where did you move to?
We moved to that house. It is 857 Willis Avenue in Glendale, Oregon.
Okay. And when you moved here, who all moved here?
It was
Fire Pixie has been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, Fire Pixie. Hello, everyone. Hello, Fire Pixie.
Okay. And how old is Eolus?
He's
2. Okay. So talk about your.
What are these names for her children?
Eolus.
He's
2.
Eolus?
And how old is Eolus?
Eolus? Eolus and Data?
He's
2. Okay. So talk about your birth with Eolus. Did you have any complications with him?
With my birth with Eolus, I was going to a hospital named Sutter, and they had told me that I needed to induce labor, but they wouldn't explain why, and it made me very uncomfortable. So I ended up going to a different hospital, and they told me that he had retarded growth syndrome, where the placenta wasn't giving him enough nutrients. He grew to his capacity inside of me. And so once they explained that, they tried to induce labor. That didn't work. He came out completely on his own with the epidural. But there was no full-on complications. He was 5 pounds, 5 ounces, and we went home the next day.
And how did you feed Eolus?
I fed Eolus. I breastfed him for the first 3 weeks, and then he drained me out completely, so I switched to formula.
Okay. And how old is Eolus now?
He's 2.
Okay. Any medical problems with Eolus? I mean, like during the first 2 years, have you had any complications or medical problems with
No,
him?
he's gotten fixed a few times, but nothing actually serious.
Okay. With Eolus, did you do prenatal care with him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you do post-care after he was born with him?
Yes, I did. Up until he was 8 months, he was going to a doctor on the regular, and then we had to move around, and it was hard to find a doctor inside of Reno. But I took him to the ER each time that he got sick.
Okay, see, these are always the fascinating things where, you know, she's here being questioned by the cops because she starved her 7-week-old baby to death. Yet she's doing all of the right things for her older child. Uncivil Kurt says, I'm still trying to find the charging documents for Superman friend for the new and existing charges. Can't find that or the probable cause affidavit. See, I want to see it too, because I want to figure out how the hell extortion by threat figures into these new charges. You know, we were just talking about that. How the hell does extortion by threat figure into new charges? Oh, it's you know, if I get them first, I'll send them over to you. If you get them first, send them over to me, because I'm curious as hell about that charge.
Since he didn't have his own doctor.
Okay. And for his health, I mean, would you consider him a healthy baby? Or a healthy kid now? Yes. Okay.
All right, we have people calling for the blue font.
So talk a little bit about yours and Stephen, right? But he goes by Michael, correct? Okay. So talk a little bit about yours and Michael's business that you have.
Okay, this is one thing that I have been wanting to explain, because his brother, when he said that we throw adult parties, that was something he was saying to make himself feel better, because he has no job.
Okay.
We pay for everything inside the house. He has no pull it for anything except for food stamps now that he got back to New Mexico.
Okay.
What we used to do in California, we started to put together a production company for any and all entertainment. This was revolved around like EDM music festivals, dancing teams, and really anything that people have passions for. We have been working on adult campsites for a while, since I turned 19.
All right, subtitles. She did not say you're working on adult campsites. that's not what she said. Adult campsites since she turned 19. See, she was OG OnlyFans like, before it existed. So she's doing the adult cam thing probably back when it was was it Cam Frog or whatever the hell that was back in the day, or so I've heard. Yeah. So she's 23. Her oldest son is 2 years old. So she was still doing the cam stuff for 2 years before her oldest was born.
I've been working on the campsite, and that was a separate venture from our production company. And we had started getting ideas to throw adult parties. We looked up all of the laws and what steps to take, and we threw a couple inside of hotels, but then we held back on that because we had more responsibilities to take care of with our
Oh, you mean
kids and
swinging
our normal job
parties,
and bills.
not adult parties.
But right now, the only job that we work is online as cam models.
Okay. So, you know, kind of dumb in this area, I guess. So when you say adult parties, what do you mean by that?
There we go.
The few parties that we threw in California, one was a platonic naked tea party where 6 or 7 adults went into a hotel. We all got naked, drank tea together, and watched movies, and that was that.
And
then
that was
there
that.
Another party that I organized, but I didn't show up to. What it was for a girl that I had met. She wanted to be gang things, so I organized the event for her and helped her find suitable guys.
Very helpful.
But really, I just would organize things for people to go to, so then that way they feel safe and there was other people around. Because in the fetish lifestyle, people are very open, and it's not safe if you don't know what you're doing.
Sure. So now you said you guys just strictly kind of do an online model. And what does that consist of?
Well, anything that I'm not a parent for. Like, if it has to do with me taking a shower, then I'll turn on the camera and take a shower on camera.
See, now I'm not going to king shame, you know. If that's what you're into and you're making money doing it and it's not hurting anybody, go ahead. But when you start getting, you know, when you start becoming a mother or a father, it's time to start, you know, acting like one.
It has to do with me milking myself into a bottle, then I'll milk myself into a bottle. I don't do that now with the state of trust.
Yeah.
If it has to do with me just feeling like chatting with people, then that's what I do. It really just depends on our mood and what we feel like doing that day.
So do y'all venture into sex on movies or online?
From time to time, it's not like our usual thing. We always have it offered, but usually when we do that, it's because we want to, not because somebody paid us. People don't usually pay for the sexual stuff because there's a lot of other models that do that, and they're better at it. I'm better at the make your life go really well and you hang out with me and just you happen to see boobs and other things along the way because I felt like it.
What the hell does that mean?
So how do you get paid for this?
I get paid through a LLC called Crosstown Services through the main site that I work. It's basically a tip-based job. People buy tokens on the site that I work. The site takes a certain amount out, and then the model gets whatever's left over of the remaining. And then they cash out, and every 2 weeks they get a check.
So I guess on average, on a 2 weeks basis, what is an average payout for you guys?
An average payout is around 300 to 400.
Okay. About how many shows do you do a day?
It goes back and forth. Sometimes I won't even work for a full-on week out of the pay period, and I'll still make that much. It really depends because sometimes I'm on for hours and I don't make anything, and then sometimes I log on and all of a sudden I've made $100
$400 a week?
and said hello. Like,
That's like a job anywhere.
And how long?
Doing anything legit.
I've been doing it for 2 years. He's been doing it off and on. I say it's my job because he doesn't do it as often. He has an account. He has the possibility to, but I'm usually the more work inclined and he's more the parent inclined to go do those types of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are some of the things that you offer that people would pay for?
I offer things like me getting naked. I offer bondage if they want it, which they never do. I offer cum shows if they want to see it, which they never do. I offer shower shows. Mainly what I offer, though, this is the main thing that I do for work, and I have raffles and I have clubs that people can participate in to make them want to come back. Like I have a monthly raffle where if they pay me so much, then they get a ticket, and every month there's a raffle drawing where they can win.
Hey, everybody, I found a replacement for fucking Friday. Legal raffle with vices. Should we do? Should we have a raffle with vices?
Like my Kick ID address, which is mobile chatting app, and then my Text Plus number because that's an app instead of my actual phone number, so they can text me without me giving out my personal.
Oh, Ona Wall asks the question: is this relevant to her deleting her kid? Well, first of all, it's just part of police interrogation tactics. You know, build the relationships of trust. You know, you want to make them comfortable. You want to get them like, oh, you're just asking normal questions. Okay, I can continue answering their questions because they're all nice, and then they slowly start to come around. But spoiler alert, yeah, actually, this does have to do with the deletion of her child. Sadly enough. So not only is it a standard police tactic, but it actually kind of is relevant.
And pictures from time to time, but I suck at taking pictures.
Okay.
I never get around to that.
Okay. So prominently, what's probably the most successful paying thing that you do?
My raffle.
Your raffle. Okay. So you also mentioned you would milk. Mm-hmm. So what was that?
After I had data, well, before I had data, while I was still pregnant, I started lactating early, and I had noticed that a lot of people were into it, and that was a big face with my money. And so I would hand express myself into a bottle, and I would store the milk for whenever I needed it. I offered if anyone was interested to sell my milk, but I never ended up selling it.
Okay. And
Well, Teresa from Mitten, what the heck did I wander into? And do criminals just feel the need to purge? Shut up and ask for a lawyer, FFS. Wow, so many stupid people do not realize how dumb they actually are. Well, yeah, she did admit to starving her 7-week-old baby to death, so I'm not really torn up that she's talking. But I mean, if it's anyone else who hasn't done something horrific like that, I would wholeheartedly agree with you.
Did you do this also while Data was born?
After Data was born, yes. Whenever he would be.
And yes, she does have a prison pen pal page set up, and if you go check it out, let's see, the Chandler and Buddha Berries both sent me the link to it. If you look at it, she is a Star Wars fan. So yes, the child that died's name was Data.
Sleeping, or Mikey would be watching him, I would go and express myself on camera, and then after I was done, I would log off and go feed my son with what I had expressed, and then breastfeed him as well. And then once I was done with that, I would go back and do the same thing.
Would you always save the milk, or?
Not always. Sometimes it was like on a blanket or towel because people asked me to and paid for me to do it somewhere other than a bottle.
See, are you starting to see this here? She starved her 7-week-old baby to death. How did the baby? Because she was milking herself into towels and other things because some fucker's paying her $25 to do it. So she's taking the money, doing it into places, as she said, other than bottles, other than in her child's mouth where it should be. So, what do? Do you feed your kid, or do you just kind of save as much as you can for the degenerates?
But I try to save it every time.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So with data, what was your frequency of feeding?
Every 3 to 4 hours. I had an alarm on my phone for 3.5. So if I didn't remember by the 3rd hour, then my alarm would go off. And
Bullshit.
It would remind me if I was in the middle of doing something, I would finish what I was doing and then go feed him. If I wasn't doing anything at the time, I would jump up and go and feed him. What's my money?
Okay. And what all would you feed him?
I would only feed him breast milk.
Okay. And who was primarily doing the feedings?
I was primarily doing the feeding.
Okay. Did Stephen help out at all? Or?
A few times, if I was working and I was having a really, really good night with tips, I would express myself into a bottle and then hand it to him and let him feed the baby.
Okay. Did you ever, I guess, other than manually expressing yourself, did you have a pump at all?
No, unfortunately, I didn't. I have one on my wish list, and I was looking to get one, but the really good ones that are medical pumps, they're not like the handheld ones. The medical pumps are like $200 for a full.
You just said you made $400 a week doing this. And you know what else is for most people anyway, or at least for a great number of women, I wouldn't say most, but in my experience, a great number, the best thing for expressing is your baby's lips. Because then, you get expressed and the baby eats.
And I didn't have that money to just go and spend, so I was trying to convince the fan to buy it, and it never happened.
Okay. So would you ever store the milk, freeze it, or anything?
I froze one bottle before he was born, but then I ended up tossing it out because it went bad before he was born, and I didn't trust giving it to him. But I stored it inside of the fridge for up to 2 hours at the most. Whenever I was storing milk, it got drinking fast enough.
How much do you think Data would drink at a time?
I made sure that I expressed at least 3 ounces every time that I fed him, and most of the time he would finish it and want more, but sometimes he would only have about 2 ounces.
Okay. And did he have any issues with latching on? And
No, he had no issues latching.
okay, and could you tell he was actually getting milk? And
Yes, I could, but that's also why I was hand expressing. I wanted to witness.
See, the cop is actually laying some good evidentiary foundation here. She can't say, oh, you know, the baby just wouldn't take the nipple. She said, no problem latching. She's explaining how easy it is to feed her baby here. She doesn't know that's what she's doing, but that's what she's doing. Just telling the cop how easy it was to feed him. And while we've stopped here, we've got Jonesy 84 says Lola was Hercules' friend on the old. Oh, Aeolus. Okay. Okay. Aeolus was he was the guy, the young kid. Okay. Data, like from Star Trek. Yeah. Weird names, but she must have been a super fan. Okay. Wow. You're a super fan. I never would have pulled Aeolus' name out of the ether. Can I remember? I don't remember Xena's. What was Xena's sidekick? I just remember their names didn't matter in my dreams. What's Xena's anyway? And Stingy. Oh, thank you so much, Jonesy84, by the way. Stingy, thank you so much. Think I found it, but it's not good. Not good at all. Yeah, we gave the background information to it. And that, yeah, the one you sent me was what we had. It was the case we had read. Duncan, Idaho, thank you so much for your $5. Kind of a bummer, the depths we humans can sink to. Starving your baby to death because you're using your breast milk for sex stuff. It's a bummer. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Gabrielle, that's right. It was Gabrielle. Thanks, peeps. You just had to refresh me. Like I said, in my dreams, they didn't need names.
How much he was drinking as well as feeling it, because even though it feels like he's getting some, you never know. And so I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best I could for him.
You never know if your baby is feeding.
So during the time that you were feeding him, did your breast ever feel like engorged?
Yes, a lot at the beginning, which I massaged them a lot. And then towards the end, my left one started getting swollen, but I was making sure to massage it and do warm compresses.
Toward the end?
So I wasn't too concerned about it, but I had mentioned it to his doctor when I canceled his doctor's appointment the last time.
Okay. Did you ever have any leaking?
A lot in the beginning, but it stopped leaking around the end of it.
And once you fed him afterwards, did your breast feel less engorged, or?
They would feel less engorged for a while, and then they would engorge again pretty quickly.
Again,
and
the officer is saying so.
Or after data.
The officer is doing a very, very good job of walking her down the path of admitting to the crime. He latches very well. There's no problems with him giving the milk. Expresses well. I'm engorged. He does his thing. I don't feel engorged anymore. So,
did he feel satisfied? Or was he
Yeah,
still fussy?
usually he would go straight to sleep after he ate. Other times he would want to see what was going on the TV because it made colors and noises. But usually he just wanted to cuddle and sleep. If you weren't cuddling him, he wouldn't sleep, so he would just kind of stare at you like, wait, why aren't you picking me up?
Yeah. Oh my God, how could
Also, how many wet diapers a day do you think he had?
Up until the day right before he passed, he was pooping at least 3 times a day, at the least, usually.
Just how nonchalant she is about all of this. Bridget, she pled no contest in 2016. She's scheduled for release in June of next year. She'll be out in June 2025. There's your spoiler alert on that. She got sentenced to 10 years with credit for time served. But listen to how she's talking about it. Oh, just the day before he passed. Tee hee 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 hee. She doesn't give a shit.
It was 5 or 6, and then wet diapers was crazy. He went through like at least 10 wet diapers a day.
Okay. Any sign of like any reflex where he was a reflux where he was spitting up his milk, or kind of arching his back to where it didn't look like he was interested in feeding or anything?
No, he would spit up, but not more than a normal baby would. Like, it wasn't every time he fed. It was usually right after he burped, he would spit up a little bit.
Okay. Was there any other symptoms of him not feeling well, like vomiting, diarrhea, fever?
He never vomited once in his whole life.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any fevers?
He seemed like he was starting to.
And there's a sign that the baby's not getting fed. Show me a single baby on planet Earth that has never thrown up. They're not throwing up because it's not eating.
Run one like a week before he passed away, but it went away. I tested cough and cold syrup on him with my finger, just like a tiny drip, and he didn't react back to it, but then his fever just went away, so I didn't want to give him anything.
You gave us a child under 7 weeks
Was it for children?
cough syrup?
No, it's for children.
Okay.
Oh my Lord.
Any other medications that you gave him? No, just kind of experimented with that a little bit.
Yeah, just experimented, and then he didn't need it, so I didn't see a reason for it.
Okay. What was your sleep pattern like with him?
With him, he enjoyed sleeping right when the sun came up. He would fall asleep for about 3-4 hours, and then I would wake him up and feed him. And then usually he wouldn't let me actually go lay down until about 2 a.m. If I was in my bed before 2 a.m., then he would throw a fit and I had to get up and go somewhere else in the house. He just didn't want to be in my bed before that time.
Okay.
And then we would kind of lay in bed until the sun came up so he could go to sleep. But during the day, he took about 3 naps every day.
And how long would he sleep?
Between an hour to a couple hours. It really just depends.
Her newborn baby slept a total of about 5 or 6 hours a day. Anybody, male or female, your husband or wife that has had a child knows that everything this woman is saying is exactly the opposite of reality. And she doesn't care. Literally everything she says is exactly the opposite of a real child that's being cared for.
Depends on what was going on in the house. It was really loud. He wouldn't sleep too long.
So what time do you think you guys would normally go to sleep?
I would try and go to sleep at night, but a lot of the time I would sleep during the day. I let Mikey sleep at night because I knew that during the day I needed his help.
Okay.
But they don't never let me sleep once we went back to bed.
Okay. I know at one point you said that your guys' sleeping pattern was like 3 a.m. to 12 noon.
Yeah, usually.
Is that normal?
That's usual. Well, mainly for Mikey. Me, I'll stay up later than him because I work. I let him go to bed earlier, and then I will go to bed right before he wakes up, and then he'll take over with the house responsibilities, and then we'll switch off. But usually his sleeping pattern is from 3 to 10, 3 to noon.
Okay. And prior to him being born, was that about what time you guys would go to bed also?
Yeah. I've always been a night owl. Sleep hasn't come to me easy during the night.
Well, yeah, because you got to be on cam at night.
Okay. And what was his sleeping arrangements?
His sleeping arrangements, he slept in bed with us every night.
Okay. And that was in that one back room there? Okay. And who all slept in that room?
Just me and Mikey and the baby.
Okay. Where did Hugh sleep?
Hugh has his own room in that closet room. He had a bed and a TV, everything like that.
Okay. I didn't go in there, so I didn't see that. Okay.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
Scared me.
So, and you said you took Hugh to all of his doctor's appointments. So with the data, you had no prenatal care, correct?
Correct. I went to the doctor once while I was pregnant for proof of pregnancy, and then every time that I called my doctor, they wouldn't answer or call me back. And that scares me. If my doctor doesn't answer, it makes me not want to go because it seems like they don't care. And so I tried to get medical insurance so I could go and find a new doctor, and California's health insurance is really wonky, and it didn't go through until we moved up here. I ended up getting a piece of mail saying that I had Medi-Cal finally.
Okay. And so how did you get to the hospital when Dana was born?
We called 911.
Okay. And they used an ambulance?
Yeah, they sent an ambulance. I started going through contractions. I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling they were contractions, and I didn't want to chance having the baby at the house. So we called 911.
Okay. And how long were you in the hospital before you had Dana?
We went around noon or 1 in the afternoon on the 3rd, and he was born at 2 a.m. on the 4th. So only about 12 hours.
Okay. Any medical problems when he was born?
He had the cord wrapped around him a couple of times. It wasn't too tight, but the cord was wrapped around him from what they told me. Other than that, no, tests came back bad. All of his cultures came back correct.
Was there any drug use prior to him being born?
Just marijuana.
And how often would you smoke marijuana?
I smoke marijuana every day.
Oh, you fucking gem of a human being.
Tobacco, and so I would go and take a hit whenever I would feel anxious.
This is another one of these, it just keeps getting worse scenarios.
Or if my stomach was upset, and then go back and go do what I was doing. So quantity-wise, maybe like a gram or 2 a day. A lot less than I was smoking before I got pregnant.
Well, thank fuck for that.
Any other drug use?
I took a pain pill once or twice while I was pregnant for my teeth pain and my polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay. Any alcohol use?
Oh, yeah. Color me skeptical.
So how long did you stay at the hospital?
We stayed for a little over 72 hours. They had told us that after the first day, we were going to get to leave early after 48, but then the pediatrician told us about the culture test that had to come back. And once we understood that we had to stay up until the 72 hours, we decided to stay for the best interest of data. But they didn't tell us any concerns to be concerned about with him. They said that he was completely healthy.
Then when you got home, how were things at home? Like when you first got home with Data?
They were a bit overwhelming at first because having a toddler that doesn't know about babies around a newborn is very nerve-wracking.
How about having a mother that doesn't know about babies?
Good. He was a very happy baby.
And during, you had an appointment the first, or at 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, they called me because I had explained to them we live 50 miles away, and so it would probably be easier if they called me. And so they called me, and we scheduled an appointment after they had that first checkup. And
Wait, she just said they didn't call.
When it started getting closer, I was looking for a ride, and I finally found one, and then the next day the lady canceled on me. And so I ended up calling this doctor 2 days before he passed and explained to them that I didn't have a ride. I was trying, but I might not be able to make it to his appointment. And they said that that was fine. They would take him off the schedule, and if we show up, we could do a walk-in appointment.
And so what happened with the very first one?
The very first one, they called me. They asked me how he was doing. They asked me how much he was eating. They asked me how I was feeling.
And you lied.
But you didn't show up to the appointment, right?
No, they only had a phone call.
So how when you got home with Data, how soon did you start doing shows again?
3 days later.
3 days later. And what kind of shows were you doing at that point?
I was only doing lactation and shower shows.
Okay. And how often would you do them?
Twice a day whenever I would work, but then I wouldn't work for a few days. Up until like 2 weeks before he passed, I wasn't working very often. I was really tired. Whenever I would work, it was about twice a day.
Okay. And when you would do the lactation shows, how much do you think you would lactate?
2 to 4 ounces, depending on how long I was on.
And last time when they talked to you, you mentioned something about an infection.
That got mentioned also at the hospital, and it's always a concern with a breastfeeding mom. And I was researching about it a lot because they never told me about any infection the first time when I had David, or when I had Q, they never told me about infection. And then when
Q? Wait, so she's got 3 kids? The Iolus, Q, and Data? When did Q come into the picture? I must have missed that one. All right, not going to judge for names. Not going to judge for names, you know. Name your kid whatever you want. So she's got Iolus or Eolus, Q, and Data. All right.
breastfeeding mom, and I was researching about it a lot because they never told me about any infection the first time when I had David. Or when I had Q, they never told me about infection. And then when I had David, they told me about when they get infection in their breast. And so
Or is she just calling Iolus Q now?
About it. I was reading up on it a lot. I'm not sure if I had it. I was really paranoid that I did, so I was constantly massaging my boobs and helping myself. Like I didn't want to be infected.
So
oh no, lady.
Then, so now you're saying you didn't have an infection?
Not to my knowledge. My boobs hurt, but I don't think they hurt more than a normal breastfeeding mom. I didn't breastfeed for that long with Q, so I don't know.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you thought your ducts
Were getting clogged. Yeah, my last one, it was starting to have bumps, and so I would massage it a lot and warm compresses. It was sort of worrying for me, but my milk still flowed. It just hurt more for it to flow.
Mm-hmm. So at any time during the almost 7 weeks that
that's
you
terrible.
Had data, did you ever stop producing milk at all? No. So your ducts never got clogged to where?
Not fully, no.
No, but you were still able to produce milk.
Yeah.
Okay. And no infection that you had?
No.
Okay.
And I always checked for red lines because that's one thing that the doctor told me, that if I ever have red lines on my boobs, to go in immediately and call 911.
So no problems with her, no problems with the baby, no problems with the
milk. There was a couple
milk.
times where I would see one of my veins and I would ask Mikey, like, is that a red line? Like, can you tell me? Please tell me I don't have an infection. Because it scared me. I've never been told about that. My whole entire life training to be a mom, like, I've never heard about a breast infection.
So why did you tell us last time that you did have an infection and that your milk ducts were clogged and that there was a period of about 3 weeks that you were not able to produce milk?
Uh-oh.
I said I was not able to produce milk as quickly.
Oh, now you're getting smarter than the cops, are you?
I didn't say that I had one because I did not have one to my knowledge. I was scared, yes.
No, I'm not going to argue with you, but no, that is what you said. I mean, you said that when we took you to Mercy and we did the search warrant and had you pump your breast, one of the things that you said.
I got told that there was an infection by one of the ladies, and I said that makes a lot of sense.
What
I remember that part. You were talking to one of the ladies, and she said an infection about the breast milk, and then you guys tested me for infection.
Yeah, there was no infection.
Well, that's what I heard. That's why you guys drew blood the second time. So I said that makes a lot of sense.
No, we drew blood the second.
There you go. Now they see. There's a whole. We should do the police interrogation pattern stream one of these days. So now they've moved into the confrontational phase. So this is where they've had their they've had they're building the relationships of trust part of it, the letting her hang herself part of it. Now they're coming in, now they're drawing the net in with the confrontational phase here. Z says, Legal Vices, can you please explain how the heck she got only 10-year sentence instead of life without parole? She pled no contest to what was it? To first-degree manslaughter. So it wasn't murder; it was first-degree manslaughter, is what she pled guilty to. And that was the sentence, 10 years.
Because the files that they used initially were not the right ones to be able to test
Okay,
your
then
white
I
blood
wasn't
cells.
fully understanding. I heard the word infection and then there was more blood drawn, so that's what I was under the impression.
Yeah, but we hadn't even got to that point. This was why you were pumping your breast. You specifically said that you had not been able to produce milk the last 3 weeks, and it had just started coming in within the last 3 days, is what you told us.
I said it wasn't easy to. I didn't say that I stopped, because I didn't stop. I was feeding him the whole time.
Correct. Well, I'm just saying that's what you said.
I know, and I also hadn't slept for 2 days prior to that because of everything going on.
Oh yeah.
But I
Blame the cops.
that I never stopped producing milk. It was a little hard for the 3 weeks before I passed.
Well, and she is serving the full 10 years. It was in February 2015, and she'll be getting out in June 2025. So I guess it was January 2015 is when the child died, and then she'll be getting out in, I believe, it's June of 2025. So she'll serve the full 10 years, which, as we can all agree, just does not seem anywhere near enough.
But I didn't stop. If I would have been, I would have gotten formula.
Okay. And so y'all didn't supplement food or anything else other than formula or milk?
No, 2 days before he passed, I gave him the mushed up like juices from some peas when I was eating because he looked really curious, but I didn't actually feed him it. I just let him taste the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But no, just no.
Then you also give him water?
In water, yeah.
How much water? How often did you give him water?
Water, I give him water after every 2 feedings. I give him about 2 ounces every time, sometimes 3.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
Under what direction did you do that?
My first pregnancy, they told me that you should always give your baby water, not just breast milk.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, all the nutritional value of water.
Enrolled in any other services when you left the hospital?
No, they told me that they were going to help me get food stamps and WIC, and they never handed me the paper. And since I was excited to go home, I didn't think about it. And when they called the second week, I asked them to send me that paperwork, and they said that they would, but they never ended up doing it. And so I was basically just playing the waiting game, hoping they would send it to me.
When you got that pamphlet from
her husband went to trial too.
Did you receive
I don't know what his sentence was. I'll search.
Okay. Did you ever review the things in that folder?
I looked through the first few pages about what to do once you get home and how many diapers they're supposed to have. I didn't look through the whole entire book. I was meaning to, I just never got around to it because I was busy.
Okay. So the application for the WIC should have been in that folder. So maybe you didn't get that far.
Maybe I just didn't get that far. I asked them, they didn't mention it was in the folder.
Okay. Did you ever meet with a lactation consultant when you were in the hospital?
They came the first day after Data was born, and they asked me how I was doing, and they said that I was lactating correctly and that he was latching good, and so they didn't have any concerns with me. When I had my second week appointment on the phone. I had told them that I would like to set up a meeting with the lactation specialist, but she never called me.
So prior to Data's death, was there anything that you noticed that was different about him?
The day before he passed, he started acting a little bit weirder than usual. He was a lot more quiet during the day. Like he was a loud, happy baby, not like fussy, but he was loud about things. And the day before he passed, he was really quiet, which made me curious. And me and Mikey had decided that if he was the same the next day, that we were going to end up calling the hospital because it kind of worried us. It's not usual for a baby to be loud and active and then 1 second just want to lay there and stare at the walls. And that's how it was the whole full day before he passed away. Was he just wanted to lay there and stare at things. He barely made any noises. It really worried me.
It worried you then. Why didn't you call then?
We discussed because there was no, like, he wasn't, like, fully shut down. It wasn't like he had given up on the world. It was just that he was content with everything. That's what it seemed like. But it worried me because it was different.
Oh, you
But
horrible
he was
woman.
really happily content. He just laid there and smiled and kind of looked at us and would make a few noises, but not the same noises he was used to. And so we talked about it, and we both agreed that we might not want to jump the gun, but if he's acting the same, we might want to call the doctor the next morning. And so we went through that night, and then in the morning.
How's that jumping the gun?
With Q, I went to the hospital for everything, and the bills that I got from that were ridiculous and overwhelming, and I still owe those bills in Santa Rosa. I went to the doctor for him coughing weird. I went to the doctor for him crawling when he was 2 weeks old, and that scared the crap out of me because he started moving around, and I was like, is this normal? Like, is there something wrong with my baby? And I would go to the doctor for every single reason, and every time they told me that I was a hypochondriac. And so because we weren't fully set up with Medicaid up here, we didn't want to do that and have a bunch of bills hanging over our heads. And so we figured that we would give it a day and see how we did, because there was no full-on emergency. It's not like he was coughing or choking or like he stopped breathing like when he did. So we figured we would give it a day and see if he was just adjusting and growing up. Because babies do change randomly, just not that drastically. Then the next morning, while we were outside, we had mentioned, before he passed, we had mentioned to each other that he was acting the same now and that there was no concerns. And so when we went back in there, all of a sudden it was free.
But I mean, if there was a drastic change like that, I mean, from him being this happy, lively baby to bam, you know, he's like a complete different baby. I mean,
it worried me. I don't know exactly what I should have done in that situation because I've never experienced it. I might have, should have called, I don't know. But under my impression, he was still healthy and he was still happy. And that's usually what you look for a baby. As long as they're happy and they're healthy, then they're okay. And so I checked his ears, I checked his eyes, I snapped my fingers, made sure he heard me. I did all the checkup things that the doctor told me, and he responded just fine, so I figured maybe he's just changing.
so once Data passed, then how long was it before you started working again?
That night I logged on to talk to my fans because I'm a real...
Jesus Christ! The night her child died, she went online to talk to her fans? Okay. All right. That's... it's not often I get nailed and struck speechless, but... Good God. Oh my Lord. Okay. People, come on. I mean, come on. Really? Just I got nothing. She's laughing. She's joking. She's like, everything looked cool. She's just telling a story. And then she says that she went online to talk to her fans.
Person with my fans, they know almost everything about my life. And so I logged on to cry to them about everything that was going on. But I didn't full on start working until 3-4 days later, but it wasn't really working. It was more logging on my cam, waiting a few hours, not really paying attention to anyone and logging on. It just started becoming work again.
Okay. How long after data pass was it before you posted new photos or a video or anything like that?
I don't really post full on new photos. I might have posted a
that's not the
picture of
point.
my kids the next day because someone asked for it, but I barely take pictures or videos. It's very rare that I do.
Okay.
Mainly face photos that I post online. I'll find photos from back in the day that I'll post every once in a while, but I haven't taken any new content up until like last week.
Okay. The photos or any photos or videos that you took of yourself lactating or expressing yourself, were they done before or after Data was born? After. Okay. And where are them stored at?
There's some files on extra lunch money. I got paid to get those. And then my Google Plus cloud, I believe, has all of my photos on it. I haven't gone through it because there's pictures of data and I'm not ready to.
Okay. And is it Google Plus or is it a Microsoft?
Google Plus.
Okay.
It's saved automatically on all Android phones, and so if you ever activate that app, it saves every single picture you have ever taken automatically online. And so I did that with every single one of my phones. My cloud has like everything that I've ever taken a picture of.
Right. And what's that email address under?
TallyBisconte69@gmail.com.
Of course, 69.
Any other clouds that y'all store photos or anything?
Dropbox I used to use. I use that now for
She was 23 at the time, so she's going to be 43 now.
I don't remember what prizes to send people, but I think
Or 41, I guess.
OneDrive, which is
Wait, 31. Me can't do math.
I don't use that one though.
She was 23 at the time.
Photos and stuff under him too, on his, of you or?
On his OneDrive there should be something, but I'm not sure if there's lactating.
But the husband, he didn't plead. He went to trial, and basically he was also convicted of first-degree manslaughter. I don't know what the sentence was, but his earliest release date is February 15th of 2025. So the earliest release date for him is February 2025. Who knows if he'll get parole then? Yeah.
What all sites would you guys go on?
I work mainly on Chatterbait, but I also work on My Girlfriend, Extra Lunch Money, Kink Live, and from time to time, My Free Hands, but not very often.
My Free Hand.
Are all of them paid sites? Okay. So you can't just go on there and like check out your profile or anything?
Oh no, people can go on there for free.
most of them are completely free just to go and check out what models you like, and if you sign up through a certain model, that model gets a reference page, like an affiliate link. But it's completely free to go and check out. You can't check out content if the model's selling it unless you buy it.
Okay.
But usually most things are free.
And what's your login name?
Miss_Picate on most of them, and then Miss Caligula.
This is 2015.
Let me just, I've got a list in there. So let me go make sure I got all the questions answered first, and then we'll get into everything else, okay? I'll be right back.
Now they do the let them stew by themselves for a long period of time. All right, I'm going to mute it just in case there's some sort of copyright involved. But let's see what we got there. It's 11:20. How long? Oh, that was quick.
Is there anything else that maybe you told?
Okay, ordinarily they'd wait, let her sit there for an hour or 2, 3 hours by herself to kind of break her down a little bit more.
The first officers, when they responded, that you talked to them about that maybe you haven't told me, or maybe, I didn't ask you, that you can remember?
Not that I can recall.
The only, I guess, one thing that I remember that you said to them was something about his eyes.
The night before he was doing something, his eyes, it looked like he was trying to figure out how to adjust them on his own. And a couple times they would like roll down and look down, but it wasn't like it made him uncomfortable. It was like he was doing it on his own, and it kind of tripped me out. But we called a fellow parent, and they said that was completely normal. And
Hey, future Mrs. Martin 2.0, it's Mrs. Potentially Criminal. Welcome. Thank you so much. Late to the party, the pups are looking adorable. Thank you so much.
People would go down
Soon to be
from time
Mrs.
time,
Potentially
and then they would come
Criminal.
back, and then they would point different ways, and it was like he was trying to figure out how to control.
Thank you.
And that's what we got told by the co-parent. I forget who he called that night, because it freaked me out. I was like, is that normal? And he was like, yeah, that's him getting used to his eyeballs. And I was like, wait, no, I've never seen a baby do that. And so we ended up calling someone. I forgot who he called.
She's laughing about his fucking monster.
Yeah, he called someone and was like, can you let Amanda know that when babies like start getting used to their eyes, sometimes they do weird things. And so I was like, are you serious? Like, I need to make sure that this is normal, because that's just weird. I've never seen a baby do that.
Okay.
Because he was dying.
All right. So like I said earlier, we have some preliminary results regarding the autopsy.
She's a sociopathic monster. That's the only thing I can think of. I thought it was trippy that my son was fucking dying in front of my eyes. Ugh. Oh, I could be feeding my child milk, but I need to do it into a fucking towel for these fucking degenerates paying me $25.
And preliminary just mean basically we haven't got all the labs and blood work yet, but the state medical examiner has did the autopsy and basically made their determination based on the autopsy. So there's a lot of things that you told me today regarding the feedings, regarding the diaper use, the number of wet diapers, the number of poopy diapers, and things that kind of led up to January 22nd that based on
Yeah, we think you're full of shit.
The scientific portion of it and just not necessarily scientific portion, but the medical portion of it that I believe to be inaccurate. Okay. And the reason being is the cause of death for data was basically he starved to death. Okay. And the medical examiner and the chief, I don't know if he's a chief, but he's a doctor at Dornbecker, can prove.
No, Jim Zatala, she pled no contest, got sentenced to 10 years. She's eligible for parole. Her release date is like June or July 25th of 2025. She's getting out next year after serving 10 years.
That based on the autopsy and what Dad looked like when he passed away.
Okay, I asked for my son to be preserved because I wanted a second medical examiner.
Oh,
and
for
then
fuck's
that
sake.
request never got past me. My attorney requested for that. And now we have the remains of my son. And I wish that I could have a second examiner because I didn't starve my son.
Well, you did. And here's why. Okay, your son had 0 fat on him.
Oh, my
0.
Christ.
He weighed approximately, 7-8 ounces less from the time he was born until he passed away.
Oh, my God.
Once he got to the medical examiner's office, I may have the weight broke down here, but I know when the deputy ME weighed him, after the fact, he weighed 5.7 ounces. Okay, when Dad was born, he weighed 5.12 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
No, it can't. What? All right, that can't be right. That is impossible. That cannot possibly be.
ME weighed him. After the fact, he weighed 5.7 ounces. Okay, when Dad was born, he weighed 5.12 ounces.
That can't be right. You can't. It's got to be. But see, here's the problem. It can 5 points. You cannot be born 5.7 ounces, and then they just say, okay, you can go home the next day. So that's utterly impossible. But if he's born 5 pounds 7 ounces, that's a big fucking baby. Wait, no. Sorry. That's I'm thinking kilograms because that would have been like a 13-pound baby. All right, so yeah, it's got to be all right. I forget. They're in America. You guys use the pounds. So yeah, she's talking 5 pounds 7 ounces because that makes sense. So he was like 5-6 ounces lighter at death than he was when he was born. This is in Oregon, Robert. So yeah. As I see, Brittany says my daughter was over 8 pounds. 5 pounds is not big. I was thinking kilograms, not pounds. So yeah, because 5.7 kilograms is a big baby, but 5.7 is actually kind of a little bit underweight. So yeah, because I was like, what was I? I was like 9 pounds. So anyway, yeah, sorry, my brain was stuck in kilogram mode there. So yeah, he was born at 5.12 ounces, almost 6 pounds, and 5.7 ounces died. So yeah. Yeah, Betsy's babies can weigh less than the birth in the first few days, but once the milk comes, they start gaining. And babies are just fat. And this baby had 0 fat. Oh, God.
When she weighed him, she being the state medical examiner, weighed him at autopsy. He weighed 5.3 ounces, which is 0.9 ounces less than, or basically 9 ounces less than what he weighed when he was born.
This is Amanda Hancock is her name.
He wasn't eating enough. Okay, he had nothing whatsoever.
Could there have been just no nutrients in my milk?
No, that's not how it works.
Your milk tested. Okay, there was no parasites, no nothing in your milk.
Oof.
Your white blood cell count was perfect. So there was nothing going on.
Anything.
It makes no sense to me. I was feeding my baby. I made sure I had an alarm on my phone even.
There was nothing inside his intestines
Oof.
when the autopsy was done.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does. You starved him, you fuck.
Here's what I think was going on. You may have thought you were feeding him, and maybe he was getting some milk, but for the fact that you were using your milk to make money off of.
I didn't sell it, though.
But you didn't sell it.
I didn't sell the milk. That's your fucking defense? You didn't sell the milk? You were just talking about how you were putting it everywhere but inside of a bottle where your baby could drink it because degenerate fuckwits were paying you $25 with the instructions not to put it in the bottle. You disgusting fucking human being.
But you were using your milk, whatever you lactating basically, to make money on camera. And you even said you wasted some of the milk by squirting it on a towel or a blanket or whatever.
I figured why not make money for something I had to do anyways? You have to milk yourself when you're breastfeeding.
You're right, but what is that? You're producing the milk for what?
I was producing the milk for him. I was just getting paid for it because I could.
But how ridiculous does that sound?
This is a crime circus presentation.
You're basically wasting his food. That obviously.
I would give him the milk that I would produce into the bottle. From time to time, I would do it on a blanket or towel, but not all the time.
No, that's not what you said
When
earlier
we went
on.
there, we found no milk in bottles, no nothing. We found water. And even, you can argue with me on this point, but your exact words at the hospital while you were pumping to Detective Brigo was that you had not produced milk for the last 3 weeks, and it just started coming back within the last 3 days. Yes.
No.
And then you're making videos, you're taking photos of you lactating to sell that for money.
So then I can pay my bills.
That's not the fucking
that milk
point.
is for data.
I gave it mostly to him, except for like a few drips every once in a while when people ask me to on a freaking blanket or towel.
But how do I know that? Because I know what the autopsy says on your son. I know the autopsy says that your son starved to death. Okay? You didn't. You didn't feed him enough. His muscles, he had already started, his muscles had started deteriorating because that's what he was feeding off of. Because he had nothing in his system to eat. I understand.
He seemed satisfied with what I was giving him. He seemed completely satisfied. He never asked for more.
The fucking 7-week-old child never asked for more? Did you just say that? Sorry for yelling in your ears, people. She just said he never asked for more. The 7-week child never asked for more. Excuse me, Mom. May I have some more? My Lord.
The doctors, them starving to death doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was for a long period of time that he wasn't eating. And the day before he passed, when he wasn't acting right, he was giving up.
Yeah, when you were saying it was trippy because his eyes were rolling down into his head.
And then the next day, that's when he passed away. You can't sit here and look at the picture when he was born to the picture that when he was passed away and look at that baby and see that that's the same baby. You can't look at that. If I need to print one of each off and bring to you and show you, and just for you to look at the difference for when he was born, healthy, happy-go-lucky baby, to when he's laying in the back of the ambulance and passing away, you can't say that's the same baby. You can't say he was getting fed enough just by looking at
I
him.
was feeding him as much as I could.
But looking at him,
I don't think so.
you can't sit here and tell me that. Am I wrong?
I was
feeding him as much as I could.
I hear you, but answer my question. Am I wrong? Did that look like the same baby when he was
Of
born?
course not. He was dead in the last picture.
Take the dead aside.
Oh my Christ.
I'm talking about the same structure. Him looking the same, healthy. You can't say that.
I didn't see that he was unnutritious. Like, I didn't see it. I didn't.
Do you want me to show you the pictures of what he looked like?
No, I
Yes,
saw him
yes.
after
Show her
he
the
died.
pictures.
I didn't
Make her look at the
see,
pictures.
Like, from day
Do
to
it.
day, I didn't see an issue in his nutrition. If I did, then I would have called.
Amanda, I have a child too. Okay? According to the doctors, within the first 2 weeks, the baby's supposed to be back to his natural born weight.
Yeah.
Okay? When your baby left the hospital, he weighed approximately a half ounce less than he did when he was born. So 5.11 and a half. Okay, you don't get 5.11 and a half to 5.3 ounces without being fed.
I don't understand because I did feed him.
Okay, you said earlier you fed him as much as you could. What is that?
Every 3 to 4 hours, so I would make sure that I had pumped into a bottle 3 ounces, and then if he ate all of that and was still hungry, I would put him on my boob.
Amanda, there's no way. There's no way you did that.
I don't understand because I did.
There is no way. We can prove that.
But I did.
But we can prove you didn't.
No, right, because I did.
If you did,
saying it doesn't make it so.
I don't think Dad would have died because he wasn't getting enough food. He wasn't getting hardly any food. I mean, like I told you, it don't happen overnight. It's for a prolonged period of time where he's not getting any food, and the whole giving him water thing.
I got told by a doctor that.
Well, that was with Q. That was with Q, okay? That's 2 years ago. Okay, you're not supposed to give water.
Okay, so I guess her oldest son, Iolus, or whatever his name was, Eolus. I guess his nickname must have been Q. So her children are Q and Data.
The babies. There's no nutritional value in water whatsoever. The juice of the peas.
I got told that.
Well, I don't care what you were told back then with Q. We're talking about data. With the peas, there's no nutritional value in the juice of the peas whatsoever. None.
No, I just wanted him to taste it.
But why?
Because he looked curious.
Babies are curious.
So I wanted him to taste what it tasted like.
Why at 6 weeks old would you do that?
We did that with the oldest too. If he looked curious, we would put a little bit on our finger and let him taste it so he could experience the world.
So if you guys were smoking weed in front of him and
No,
you looked curious about that, would you let him try the weed?
No.
What's the difference?
The difference is food is good for you.
But that has no nutritional value. What he needs is what you're producing.
And I'm eating those exact peas that he was curious
You're
about.
right. But you need the calories to
Produce milk.
increase your milk. Well,
so
no,
that you
don't
can
need
pay
it to
your,
produce the
so
milk.
you can,
Milk is produced based on supply and demand. Okay? The more
good point.
demand that data has for milk, the more your body would produce. Another reason that tells me he wasn't getting fed enough is because in the 15 minutes that you pumped your milk, when we were at the hospital, you barely produced an ounce and a half.
He was also dead, and my boobs knew that.
Oh my God, that is the worst thing that ranks right up there with the worst things I've ever heard in my life. That sentence. Also, my boobs knew he was dead. Well, he was dead, and my boobs knew that. Holy shit. He was dead, and my boobs knew that. Yeah, that is, honest to God, one of the worst sentences I've ever heard in my entire life. This is why I would be a terrible, terrible cop. I would be I wouldn't last very long as a judge, because right now is when I would just punch her in the face. I mean, just that sentence that she just said would have pushed me over the edge. I'm not a great person. I don't think I could have controlled myself after that one. That is.
She was also dead, and my boobs knew that.
Oh my
No,
God.
it is.
I went through a whole day without lactating before you guys even took me to the hospital.
I know, which is even more reason why your body should have been producing the milk. If you're feeding him regularly, then and your boobs or your breasts were engorged, then you should have produced way more milk. 1.5 ounces of milk is not even enough for one feeding for him. And boys require more milk than girl babies. So that right there tells me also he wasn't getting fed enough. I mean, you can sit here and tell me that you did all these things regarding feeding him, the number of wet diapers, the number of poopy diapers. You can tell me all that. But I can prove with the help of 2 doctors that everything you're telling me is inaccurate. Well, how do you explain it then?
I don't know.
You're saying you're feeding him, you're doing all this to your kid, and he's happy, but the next day, bam, he's completely...
SIDS is a thing.
Huh?
SIDS is a
This
thing.
is not SIDS. Okay, I've investigated SIDS deaths before. This is not SIDS. If it was SIDS, the autopsy would have found he was 100% healthy.
I don't understand because I fed him.
You didn't, Amanda. You didn't.
Yes, I did. You were out there every day.
It doesn't matter. I didn't need to be
Jesus.
there. You don't take a rocket scientist to look at 2 pictures and tell that this baby on the right, after he's passed away, is not healthy, is underweight compared to the child that was born. It doesn't take a smart person, even you. And I'm not saying you're dumb, but you can look
Yes.
at the 2 pictures
Yes, you are.
and tell that's not the same baby.
And that's okay.
Here's what I think happened. I think you were so invested in your ulterior lifestyle with your working that, you were working, you were doing your thing, you're wasting milk that should have been provided to him to eat. And yet that is pretty much fending for himself while you and Steven are in there doing your job,
I thought we worked with him.
doing your sexual acts or doing your bondage or, you getting on Twitter and posting all these pictures, all these videos about what you're doing, about, getting people to buy your breast milk, 8 ounces of breast milk for $75 today, normally $150, 50% off. Are you posting videos of you lactating? Are you posting pictures? Are you going to this website and charging $25 for a self-lactation? Don't think I haven't checked all this stuff out.
I know.
Tank Rat, I'm with you, brother. This girl needs to be removed from society for the crap she's saying. Yeah, well, unfortunately, she only got removed for 10 years. She only got removed for 10 years. She's eligible for parole next summer. Thank you so much for the super chat there. And Tank Rat has also just gifted 20 Legal Vices memberships. Thank you so much. And if you got one of those 20 Legal Vices memberships, make sure you give Tank Rat a super, super special thanks. Much, much appreciated. All right, we got what do we got here? About 10 more minutes left. And then we'll give you the update on what's coming up in the next week or so.
So that alone, you doing all that stuff right there, offering regardless, you can sit here and tell me that nobody bought your milk.
As always.
Maybe they didn't. But the fact is, you're charging people to watch you self-lactate when that milk should have been going to your son.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
And even you squirting it on a pillow or squirting it on a blanket because people asked. Doesn't matter. That milk should have went to your son. So you're putting your own wants and needs before your son just so you can make
I want to go home.
Just
You
so-
and Steven are going to go home.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're going home. I want to go home. Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
I'm done with this.
Okay, you're not going home. because you're under arrest for murder of your son. So I need you to turn around and put your hand behind your back.
Are you for real?
Oh, the big sigh, as if he's inconveniencing her. Oh, now you're inconveniencing. Okay, well, again, for those of you joining late, she was originally charged with murder, but she pled to manslaughter, a first-degree manslaughter, and got sentenced to 10 years.
Amanda, what did I tell you? I can prove that you did. You can sit here and tell me this until you're blue in the face.
Yeah, and my attorney also said that if you guys didn't preserve my son and get a second opinion by medical examiners, that there better not be a case.
Okay, well, your attorney's in California. He doesn't practice law in Oregon.
That's okay. I can find one that does here.
Well, okay.
I only have a lighter in there and cigarettes. I can see this pacifier in my pocket.
It's the prosecutors that offer the plea deal, basically. They don't take it, they offer it.
And you don't have to say another word, but you can consciously believe you did the right thing by feeding your son and doing all the things as a mom should do. But you did so many things negatively with raising this child that we can prove. You didn't take care of your kid. One, by prenatal care, you did none. You didn't take him to his appointment afterwards, 2 weeks. If there was some medical issue within the first 2 weeks, they could have found it.
See, this right here to me is explaining why they took why they offered a manslaughter plea deal rather than going ahead with murder. Because with murder, you have to prove the mens rea. You have to prove she had the intention to kill the child, rather than just being a shitty mother who let her child die through negligence and I mean, just knowing she knew or should have known that if her child didn't get proper nutrition, it would die. That's much easier to prove than she chose not to feed her child for the purpose of causing the child's death. So I think I think it was probably the right. I don't know what I don't know what the range for punishment for the aggravated manslaughter or the first degree manslaughter, whatever they called it there in Oregon. I don't know what the range of punishment was, but if she didn't get the maximum, then it was way under punished.
But you chose not to go. It wasn't a phone call appointment. You had a real appointment to go there. Listen, I know they called you after the fact to schedule another one because you were a no-show to the first appointment. Okay, and then the second one you called and canceled it. So the baby's almost 7 weeks old. Hasn't even seen a doctor since he was born. So if there was anything that medically could have been wrong with him internally that you couldn't see externally, you wouldn't have known. Because you didn't do what the doctors asked you to do. They're doctors. Okay, they have way more training in kids than you do. So there's two things you didn't do. And then the third one, which is the most important one, which led to his death, you didn't feed him. You can sit here and tell me that you fed him. But like I told you, I can prove otherwise that you did not feed him. You may have thought you were feeding him, or you may have thought he was getting enough food. But the fact, when you pumped, And you said you hadn't did, well, previously you told me you had self-milked in the shower the night before we went to Mercy to do the search warrant. Yeah, they were engorged, right? So by you doing that, and it had been less than 24 hours since you've done that, your body still should have been producing the milk. Your body didn't know that was.
Stress also stops milk, and my baby has just died.
Well, I'm not sure that's the case, okay?
Read it up. Look up any forum of moms talking about their breast milk. The moment that they stress, it starts freaking out on them. And my baby's just died.
Correct. But again, believe me, I've spent several hours with a lactation consultant, the same lactation consultant that assisted you in the hospital.
Who never called me when I asked them to have a call me.
Well, you're coming up with all these excuses, okay?
Everybody's fault but her.
Yep. Oh, this person didn't call me, or this person didn't do that. Okay, who's the parent?
Baby didn't tell me. This 7-week-old baby didn't tell me he wanted
or I thought I needed help. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I wouldn't wait for them to call me. Come hell or high water, somebody would have drove me to Mercy. Somebody would have drove me to the doctor's office. I'm pretty sure, I mean, you got a ride to court the next day by people that you met at a Christian gathering, right? Okay, well, whatever type of meeting. But you found the job you found a way to get to court the next day because of Q. So that tells me right there that if there's a will, you'll find a way to make things happen. And in this case, you didn't make any of that happen. You basically let your son just lay there and die because he was malnourished. Yes, you did. You and Stephen both. You're both responsible for this. I mean, for Dad's muscles to be deteriorating and him eating on his muscles just trying to survive, that alone shows that he wasn't getting any food or enough
He told
food.
me he was hungrier than what I would feed him.
He's 6 weeks old. He can't talk.
But they can cry to let you know. He didn't cry for more food.
Toward the end, he was giving up.
Even in the beginning, I fed him as much as he was hungry for.
Well, again, it doesn't happen overnight. In one feeding, you may have fed him that much, but there's no way that you're on a regular schedule of feeding him. There's no way. You can have the phone set to whatever alert you wanted to, but in the end, the result's still the same. Data did not get enough food, and the cause of his condition. Therefore, that's why you're being arrested for murder by abuse. And we can prove it without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, like I said, you can take the two pictures alone and put them side by side and look at them and realize Dada was not a healthy baby when he passed.
Thanks so much
here we go.
for watching. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and her boyfriend received 7 years. Comment below if that is fair. Please consider joining the Crime Circus Patreon.
So thank you to Drip Drop from Crime Circus for putting up this video. There was another one. We'll watch another different one next week. The one I was looking for, we didn't do today because I saw the first few seconds of that and went, "What in the world is this?" Kudos to the cop. The cop did he did an amazingly good job questioning her. The questions were spot on. They walked her down the path she needed to be walked down to get to where they could charge her. They got to the point where she pleads no contest for lesser charges and she's put away. Nowhere near what I think she should have been put away for, but that's where we are. Man, So that was a rough one there. We got 500 people here and over 500 likes, so that's great. We got 534 likes. Yeah, that's again. Sorry to drop that on you. I did warn at the beginning. Those of you that came in the middle of the interrogation, sorry you missed the warning about what a horrific interrogation that was. Yeah, it was in Oregon. She is set for parole June or July of 2025. The earliest eligibility for her boyfriend or husband or whatever the fuck he was, his earliest release date is February 2025. Well, on that note, let's wrap things up here. We're a little bit late. We went about an hour longer than I had planned because I talk too much as always. Our like and subscribe poll today. Let's shut this thing down. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do it now. Now's your chance. The like and subscribe poll today is rate the Superman dive over the desk into the judge and other people. 20% of you rated it Dean Cain. 21% of you rated it Henry Cavill. 15% of you rated it George Reeves. And nearly half of you, with 44%, rated it Christopher Reeve. That's the end of our poll today. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for liking. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please give me your subscription. Take a chance. See what we've got here. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And hit the like button. If you have subscribed already, just double check to make sure you're still subscribed. Now, what's coming up next? What do we got? Tomorrow is Thursday, and that means O.J. Simpson for the next few weeks. Probably about the next 6-ish, 7-ish. We'll see how it goes. But we are in the middle of closing arguments now. Every Thursday, Chandler Remington, my co-host for OJ, joins me, and we watch the O.J. Simpson trial. We're doing the closing arguments now. Tomorrow, we're starting with defense closing arguments with Johnny Cochran. Yes, the race card, where the term race card is coined, and where we get the phrase, if it does not fit, you must acquit. That all starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Friday, again, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, this is the Friday where we start not doing Friday morning streams. Which is my Friday night. I need my Friday nights off. I need to do things. Got to have a little bit of a social life. So we're going to be doing Friday evening streams. So Friday evening, right around 9 p.m., we're going to be doing a Friday evening stream, Friday evening U.S. time, which will be right around midnight UK time, 11 a.m. Canberra time, 9 a.m. 1 p.m. Canberra time, 11 a.m. my time, something like that. I'll work it out and we'll let you know. So, and what we're going to be doing Friday, so Thursday's OJ. Friday, we're going to be catching up on the Becky Hill stuff in the Alec Murdaugh trial, the clerk of court. There's been some developments with her, a little bit of a preview. She's being investigated by SLED, by the cops in South Carolina for 2 separate problems. She's getting in deep. We're going to be talking about that on Friday. Next Monday will be Maritime Monday. We're going to be doing a very, very interesting case that we've already done before, but we're going to be doing a deep dive, the Penley lifeboat disaster. And Tuesday of next week, we will be doing some more of the Jane Doe Clayton Eckerd case. We're going to be looking at documents and watching a hearing. So that'll be Tuesday. And then next Wednesday, which I believe is the 17th. Yes, next Wednesday, the 17th, I will be having Greg Anderson, Maya Kowalski's lawyer, on as a special guest. We'll be talking to him for a couple of hours. That'll get us up through the next week. So don't miss any of this. You're going to want to be here for all of it. Not a dull moment scheduled for the next week. So take care, everybody. Let's see where are we gonna send you off to here now. Let's pick a place. Where can we send y'all to? Right. From the Flying Defendant, where are we going? We are going to let's see, redirect. We are going to redirect you to Megan Fox. because she is interviewing David Neal, who I interviewed yesterday regarding the Clayton Eckert and Jane Doe case. He's talking with Megan Fox right now. Tomorrow, right now, and then tomorrow he's going to be on with Tug. So I interviewed him yesterday. Megan Fox has got him now, and then tomorrow he's going to be with Tug, that umbrella guy. So let's go over there and watch some more of David Neal and the Eckert Jane Doe thing. So again, real quick on the way out, tomorrow, OJ, Friday, Becky Hill from the Murdaugh trial, Monday, Maritime Monday, Penn Lee lifeboat disaster, Tuesday, more of the Eckert Jane Doe thing, and then next Wednesday will be Greg Anderson, Maya Kowalski's lawyer. Until then, everybody, take care. Enjoy your legal advices. Tell Megan and Dave hi. Tell them Legal Advices sent you, and have a great time. Lawrax out.